My Lord, Lordship may kindly see the last order, the item 25.
85.
Yes,
85.
Matter fixed for 10:30. Item number 85.
My Lord, all
Ma'am,
are on PC.
May I please, my lord, kindly bear with me, my lord. My lord, it is very disgusting.
So 1 minute, sir. Every time, I don't know why you get so agitated.
State. This will include the names of the Gajasathis who are said to have been deployed. That is the first direction. Second is the map showing the elephants corridor route in state of Odisha with the name of the second. Third is the name of the villagers that fall in and around the corridors. Third, the affidavit will also set out the details of the FIR registered in country. So far as these directions is concerned, I have filed the affidavit today, and the details are mentioned in the affidavit, but the documents, our first document is Annexure S/1 at page 22, list of Gajasathis, volunteers engaged during the current year in the state. Annexure S/1. Annexure T/5 is 5,400. Annexure T/1 map showing the villages that fall in and around these corridors. Annexure U/1 villages falling in and around these 14 corridors as listed corridor wise. Annexure V/1 copy of the FIR registered along with the connected records. So in compliance of the last order, we have filed the documents and we have mentioned the details of the facts. And the affidavit is before your lordship, and all the officers are present on VC.
So no, all these corridors are in one district, is it? Or several?
No. Different districts.
Anugul, Keonjhar and all, you've given different corridors.
Yes, ma'am. These are identified corridors.
Have you served a copy or not?
Yes, I have served.
I haven't seen her.
To Mr. Misra, Ashish Misra. I will serve everybody because there are so many lawyers. I will serve everybody. Gautam is wrong. Mr. Nair is there and JTF members are also there. Add to it, if your lordship will go through para 3 of my affidavit, the preventive measures which we have taken, that has been elaborated in para 3 subpara 1 to I to IV.
So this, when you say Buguda village, it's a Nayagar district, is it? The Buguda Central RFTS.
Buguda is Ganjam, perhaps. Buguda. Ganjam district.
No. Page 123. I think it's
123.
Nayagar district.
Oh, Bubura.
Buguda लिखा है जी ऊपर मैप ऑफ बुगुड़ा सेंट्रल आर पे लिखा
Mr. Nair will explain. These are the identified corridors. Basically, your lordship will find these elephant corridors is the connecting way from one forest area to another forest area.
Page 126.
126.
That Barpahat, Tarva, Kantamal. Which district is that?
Yes.
Sonpur district. Sonpur district.
I think it cuts across two districts.
Some multiple districts are in.
Full district. Correct, sir. Baranam.
Sonpur both.
No, so it's a huge thing. So the corridors are really widespread, sir.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Nayak, you answered.
Mr. Nayak?
Sir, very good morning, sir.
Oh, good
I'm
morning.
here. Sir,
So just give us an idea how many districts are actually involved in the corridors?
sir, actually, out of the 14 identified corridors, sir, it
Yes.
covers, as you rightly pointed out, covers almost the entire state, you can say. So it's primarily, sir, it covers Mayurbhanj, Kyonjar, Baleshwar, Angul, Dhenkanal, Nayagarh, Sambalpur, Subarnapur, Baudh, Kandhamal, Raigada, sir, and Kalahandi, sir.
Okay.
It's very widespread, sir, and
That's right.
sir, I may kindly be allowed to point out to the fact that, sir, out of the 14 identified corridors, sir, way back in
Yes.
2011,
Yes.
there has been a lot of further insights and understandings that have come because elephants have started moving in alternative routes as well.
Right.
So, sir, in 2018, ANCF has submitted a very, very detailed and a thorough study wherein they have looked at the functionality and the economical feasibility of these 14 corridors, my lord. And Dr. Sukumar himself was guiding that study. And sir, if you would kindly permit, sir, if I may seek the indulgence of your little bit of time, then Dr. Sukumar is very much there to briefly explain
Yes.
by way of small PPT, the intricacies involved and how we could go forward in a very scientific and a logical manner, my lord.
All right. All right. Yes, Mr. Sukumar.
Good morning, Your Lordships. If you may kindly allow me to make a PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, yes, yes.
A short PowerPoint presentation. The host has to enable my screen share, please. I have a slightly different take on the so-called 14 corridors that were identified more than actually 20 years ago. And if...
yes, I think they permitted you to share, is it? They permitted.
They permitted me to share. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Lordships,
Yes.
I hope you are able to see the...
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. A wildlife corridor is essentially a relatively narrow strip of land that connects, a much more expansive wildlife habitat. And I think the important thing here to remember is that these are relatively narrow strips of land and relatively short passages, not something extremely long. And this was a guiding principle way back in 1992 when Project Elephant had defined elephant reserves and elephant landscapes. And elephant corridors were similarly defined within the confines of these elephant landscapes. Since then, there have been changes in some regions, Your Lordship, but I will come to that a bit later. Now, an elephant corridor is, to be a little more specific, relatively narrow strip of land that connects two or more larger habitats within the range or landscape of an elephant population. And for instance, you cannot have an elephant corridor going from southern India to central India or whatever. These are totally different landscapes. But then the question comes, how narrow, what's the least width that you can have for a corridor? And various definitions have been given. Mr. E.R.C. Davidar, who did one of the earlier studies, said, even 100 meters is sufficient for an elephant to cross. Especially for the male elephants, this is true. But if you want family groups to cross, I have said that something like 0.5 to 1 kilometer, 500 meters to 1 kilometer is sufficient. And this would depend on the length of the corridor. And the question is how long? This will depend on the breadth. This could be several kilometers long. It could be anywhere from 0.1 kilometer to 5+ kilometers long, depending on the total breadth of the corridor. But there has to be a relationship between the length and the breadth, your lordships, because once you have a very, very long corridor and a very narrow corridor, it is totally meaningless. It does not fulfill the function of a corridor as such. And usually, your lordship, a surgical intervention is sufficient to keep the corridor or passage free for elephant movement. And let me explain, your lordships, because there has been a tendency over time that wherever elephants go, to start doing all those as elephant corridors. Any movement path that the elephant takes to be a corridor. A corridor-like situation arises, let's say, typically because you have two villages. And in between the two villages is a very narrow passage. And that passage has to be slightly, it's almost like a surgery, heart surgery, where you put a little surgical intervention to ease the flow of blood flow in the heart system. Something very similar. And the village itself usually does not become a corridor by definition, in a sense, unless it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, usually a surgical intervention is sufficient, and a little bit of land here and there.
But what do you mean by surgical intervention?
Your lordship, if there are two villages, and let's say those villages are almost each other, and the boundaries are, let's say, very close to each other. Or if there are two passages are joined and there is like a bottleneck, then what that you need is you just need to take maybe 10 acres or 20 acres of land or 30 acres of land to ease that passage to make sure that it is kept free from habitation or settlement or construction so that the animals can move through.
All right.
What I mean by surgical intervention.
Basically relocating people on the corridor.
In a very limited way is usually sufficient. Yeah, not necessarily very expansive.
But it could run through fields and all that, then it becomes a problem.
It runs through large areas of fields, then we have to be very careful, your lordship, about what is the minimum area that is really needed for the passage of fields.
All right.
Thank you. If I may continue. So then the question comes, your lordship, as to why do we need corridors? This is well known in the literature. The seasonal home range, because elephants may have a dry season range and a wet season range. And
okay.
Between the two ranges, one might be a wet forest. And
sorry to interrupt. What is the population of elephants in Odisha that we're talking about?
Approximately 2,000, your lordship.
2,000. Okay.
Across the state.
And of various age groups, obviously.
Various age groups.
And this is a growing population, correct?
Yeah. Overall, I believe that in East Central India, it's a growing population. Growing at the rate of about, if I may hazard an expert opinion, between 1% and 2% per year.
Oh, so every year 20 elephants will get added to this?
20 to 30 elephants will get added to this.
Okay. This is despite the loss of elephants due to all these poaching and accidents and all of that?
Yes, absolutely, Your Lordship.
Okay.
With all that, yeah. If that does not happen, then the populations may grow at the rate of 2 to 3% per year.
Okay.
Done a fair amount of mathematical modeling and looked at.
So if all our conservation efforts succeed, then we're going to have an increased elephant population.
Much more increased elephant population.
Right. No, we just need to understand that, because fortunately this is being watched everywhere now. Today's hearing, I think there'll be a greater awareness of what the problem really is. Yes,
Your Lordship. In fact, you're absolutely true in saying that the irony of elephant conservation, and if you may kindly permit me to say this, because for the last 40 odd years I've been associated with this, the elephant population of India has almost practically doubled over this time period, Your Lordship.
I see. All right.
So the seasonal home range, Your Lordship. So
the problem is because of expansion of our city boundaries, then space for villages shrinking, and there's a competition on space between the human population and wildlife, correct?
It is, Your Lordship, it's one part of the problem, Your Lordship. That is one part of the problem. The other part of the problem is that elephants are coming out to the forest.
Right.
More than one reason. I have not gone into those details in this presentation. But the first is that internally in some regions like southern India, Your Lordship, which I'm more familiar with, there is a highly invasive plant called Lantana camara.
Okay.
It's a Central American weed which came in 200 years ago as a ornamental. And about 15 years ago, it suddenly started exploding. It has been in the past, suddenly exploded, and the understory of the forests over Bandipur, Mudumalai, Wayanad, Nagarhole, or Biligiri Rangans, it is a climate trigger that actually led to this huge expansion of this species. And the grass became completely suppressed, Your Lordship.
Oh, so the elephants did not have their, okay.
But Your Lordship, the other side of the coin is also very, very important to remember, Lordship, and that is animals are geared biologically to go and seek the most abundant, the most tasty, the most palatable, and the most nutritious food available to them.
Right.
For them to feed in the forest. And once we create the conditions outside, when there is a bit of cultivation, especially the male elephants, Your Lordship, they have to get that nutritious food to build up body condition, come into must every year, and then successfully mate. It's a very, very biological condition.
Right.
So there are the push and the pull factors.
Right.
Okay. So in some cases, you need corridors to prevent conflicts because they are crossing through, a very narrow passage or a bottleneck, and that has to be eased. Otherwise, they are spilling over into cultivation. Also, Your Lordship, it's important to remember that we should not create corridors that promote conflicts. Fathers of Project Elephant were very, very, conscious of this fact. And they said a corridor is only to allow the quick movement of elephants across this area and not allow the elephants to linger in an area, increase conflict, especially if it is going through vast agricultural lands, settlements, and so on and so forth. It should not promote conflicts. Your Lordship.
Right.
Yeah. Then the gene flow is there. Of course, how much of gene flow is necessary is an open question. And, this is used in a very loose sense. Some gene flow is sufficient. It can also be managed through human intervention, through relocation of male elephants and so on. And the last is, of course, in the present day context, which was not thought of 30 years ago, is that plant and animal species have to disperse and adapt to climate change, a broader biodiversity. What creates or obstructs an elephant corridor across the country? So man-made structures like penstock pipes, open-cut canals, multi-laned highways, and so on. Your Lordship, then you have road and rail networks with the linear development, buildings, factories, and industrial development, steep embankments along ghat roads, especially. You can have cultivated land, especially along foothills. So areas like near Coimbatore or Satyamangalam and Tamil Nadu have right at the foothills. So the elephants cannot come down and they tend to move along contours and their passage is obstructed. Then you can have extensive commercial agriculture, tea, coffee, rubber. They are not relevant in Odisha, but they're relevant in Assam, in West Bengal, in South India, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and so on. But elephants can typically move through these areas. Then you have fragmentation from deforestation, mining, Your Lordship, large dams, which is very relevant in Odisha and Jharkhand, because mining has caused a huge amount of devastation in many of the forested areas in Odisha and Jharkhand, Your Lordship. And that I certainly believe that is one of the triggers. I strongly feel that there is a climatic trigger, which I don't want to go into technical details at this stage, but I can elaborate at the end. But mining across elephant habitats in Jharkhand and Odisha, and with a clear lack of plan for the restoration of the mined areas.
Right.
I think one of the very important triggers.
No, so just to interrupt here again. So elephants will start creating their own corridors if they find obstruction in their existing corridors, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So these are the 14 odd corridors that Mr. Nair was talking about. Some of them should be recently created corridors by the animals themselves.
Your Lordship, these 14 were identified way back in 1999.
Oh, there are many more now.
Yeah, by a remote sensing agency. And I have there could be more, there could be less, because I will explain, the 13th and 14th corridor are not feasible.
All right.
So, for instance, this is a penstock pipe taking water from a dam to a powerhouse. And these are in southern India, but I will give an example from Odisha also.
Right.
So, this is the Periyar to the dam, and which flows into the Vaiga River near Madurai. And the left bottom is the Chilla power state of Uttarakhand. And the is the Parambikulam Aliyar open cut canal in the Himalaya hills in Tamil Nadu. So but there are solutions because you can put bridges and so on. Lordship, if I may present this, what is not an elephant corridor is as important to consider. Long distance movements of elephants moving through human settlements, agricultural areas, primarily to disperse or to raid crops. And I have given an example of southern West Bengal, Your Lordship, because elephants from Jharkhand and Odisha have started going into southern West Bengal, but elephants have not been there in the last 300 or 400 years.
Oh, I see. I see.
There is no habitat. There's no natural habitat for them.
Oh, I
And
see.
they are hiding in small areas of the JFM, the Joint Forest Management, regenerating acacia, and so on. And they are using this as refuges to take shelter during the daytime, and the nighttime they go out and raid crops.
Oh, I see.
Essentially a crop raiding strategy of the elephants.
Oh, I see. I see.
And so those are not corridors, Your Lordship. Then, Your Lordship, if I give an example from the south, closer to where I am in Bangalore, the movement of male elephants. These male elephants, Your Lordship, are going out increasingly now. And there are about 50 male elephants crossing the Bangalore-Mysore highway.
No, so there would be a season when this happens, correct? It may not happen every month of the year.
They will happen during the crop season, Your Lordship, typically between May and about December.
Okay.
But also, Your Lordship, what is happening is that the young males, are geared to disperse from their family groups.
Right.
Family groups and go and join another clan somewhere else, maybe 100 or 200 kilometers away.
Right.
And Your Lordship, these young males, especially 10 years, 15 years of age, they are also coming out. And they are not gone back to the forest for the last 5 years, 6 years, 10 years.
Oh, I see.
Very interesting, Your Lordship.
Okay.
They are kind of fattening up on the crops, as it were.
Oh.
And they are growing older, and then maybe after 20 or 30, they will come into must and then start going into the forest. But the older males that are coming out, they go back every season after the crop is harvested. They go and mate, they come into must, they go and mate with the females, and then they come back after 6 months. And these males are forming coalitions, and these coalitions are growing larger and larger, and they are having their own hierarchies and, bachelor
So
group.
the raiding groups of elephants are usually these males.
In many cases, Your Lordship, so also the family groups, but the males have a 5 times greater tendency to go and raid crops compared to the female-led family groups.
So this intense activity is usually between May and December.
Between May and December, Your Lordship. And
All right.
some areas, it has got 2 peaks because you have the Kharif and then the Rabi season, and depending on the state and the local region. So you may have a peak in the month of May, June, and the second.
No, what about Orissa? And
Orissa also you get 2 peaks in many regions, Your Lordship. But the main crop raiding season is during November
to February.
Yeah, till about January, February, depending on the cultivation, Your Lordship. And also, what's happened is, again, a study that we did showed. This is through the satellite imagery, looking at where Odisha is greening, in the forest and outside the forest. And in our report, we have clearly shown that Odisha is greening more outside the forest areas than inside the forest areas. Partly because of the dams and the canals that is now bringing water to farmers who are prospering, which is good for the economy and for the farmers. This is also creating a more perennial source of food. And the elephants are now loving these areas to come and spend more time outside the forest than inside the forest. So then, Your Lordship, if I say this, what is not in a corridor? This is very important. Point number 3, what I consider arbitrary lines drawn on. I'm very sorry to say. I will come to that table, 77 kilometers long, 100 kilometers wide in Odisha. It is not a corridor. This was recognized by experienced people even more than 20 years ago. But this is a corridor that is still being listed. And I feel it's time now to move on and remove some of these so-called corridors, come to a more realistic list of things. Your Lordship. Okay. Then you also have sporadic movement of elephants, which tend to sharply increase conflicts when suddenly elephants tend to move out. This happened in China, Your Lordship, recently when you had the elephants in Yunnan province, doing this 200 kilometer round. And, never expected, never happened in the last 50 years or 100 years. And there was a lot of conflict.
So how much can you anticipate if there are sporadic? You really can't anticipate where the group of male elephants will move, correct?
Both the group of male elephants, Your Lord, and also the female groups, Your Lordship. Because this happened in Yunnan, it was never anticipated.
Right.
There's a paper suggesting there was a climatic trigger. There was a drought which suddenly now, which happened in 1982-83 in South India, when I was doing my field research in that time in the south, when a herd of a whole clan, a family clan of 50 elephants, left the forest of Hosur and marched north into Chittoor district of Andhra.
Oh,
But have never been found for the last 100 years.
I
So
see.
totally unanticipated. But we could anticipate if you have a drought, then, it's like a signal for us to, say that perhaps there could be these sudden movements. It has
Right.
happened in East Central India, not
Right.
quantified and studied so far. 86, 87, and so on.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. So there are East Central India is now the region in the country which is what we call the hottest of the hotspots of conflicts because of these sudden movements, big long range dispersals, elephants from Jharkhand, primarily Odisha and Jharkhand, that are now moving into southern West Bengal towards the eastern side and towards the western side into Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and even Maharashtra, the easternmost end of Maharashtra, Gadchiroli district. And this is the one that is causing the huge amount of problems. And a certain amount of fuzziness comes in the definition of the corridors, in this case. So, the elephants are now moving into areas where they were never found, in the last several hundred years. Since the Mughal times, if I may use that, I have traced these histories. By the end of the Mughal times, elephants in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh were extinct. And elephants are now moving into those areas.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just put a map now of Odisha. I'll now come to Odisha.
Yes.
This is a density map from the last elephant population estimation in 2017. So the intense brown or red shows the concentration of elephants. And you will see, Your Lordship, on the northeastern corner, you will see it's red, this area in orange.
Right.
The Simlipal region, the Mayurbhanj elephant reserve.
Right.
Relatively intact, but with some corridor issues there. Your Lordship, if you come here, then you will find that here in the sort of central part, but north of the Mahanadi River, you have the Mahanadi Elephant Reserve and the Sambalpur Elephant Reserve, and I will come to that. This is the other two elephant reserves which have been notified, and I will just put up this where you have the forest cover of Odisha, and this is the Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve which has been notified. It is pretty good. Corridor-like situations and a few other corridors we have identified. This is the Sambalpur Elephant Reserve, Your Lordship, which is, in our opinion, not adequate in size because it is only about 400 square kilometers. And typically, the range of an elephant group or family can be up to about 1,000 square kilometers. So this needs to be strengthened. And this is the Mahanadi Elephant Reserve, which is more than 1,000 square kilometers. But there is scope for strengthening this and linking up this because you have presently movement of elephants north to south between this. Very important corridor whose is almost been blocked by a canal near the Manjur Dam. I'll put up some photographs, Your Lordship, which will show the important need for a bridge across the canal. But these two landscapes or elephant reserves can be linked. And we have given a very detailed report where the beat by beat we have given the area by which these two, both the elephant reserves can be expanded to some extent, to a limited extent, and the landscape in between preserved without too much of further development, be an ecologically sensitive area or whatever. So that these two landscapes, Your Lordship, present, in my opinion, the best prospects for long-term conservation of the elephant in Odisha, because they hold about 75% of the population of elephants in the state. And the remaining 25% are roaming around all the other areas and creating the problems.
So you suggest the link. When you say a link, you mean creating a corridor to link these two?
The corridors are there already in place. Your Lordship, just that there's one major obstruction from a canal where a bridge, or a more.
No, but I think the distance on the map, if you see like this, the distance would be more than 100 kilometers, I think.
Yes, Lordship. The dam and the canal is actually cutting across in an east-west direction.
Okay.
It's right here, Your Lordship. I'll just show it to you in a map later on. So the elephants are all moving through an area right to the north of this. And they are crossing a particular channel. And that channel is now almost blocked for them. And therefore, you just need a couple of bridges. And then they will be able to go further north of this and then move. There are a number of settlements here. We don't need to disturb the settlements, Your Lordship, but make sure that there's no adverse development like mining and big industrial development in this particular zone.
Right.
And details are given in our report on the elephant carrying capacity.
Mm.
But if I may present this is I think, again, if I may use the term confusion, in 1999, Odisha Forest Department functioned a study with the remote sensing agency, and they made a list of 14 corridors. And I will come to that. Some of the corridors are real corridors, but some of them are, in our opinion, not really corridors. And we need to settle this issue once and for all. Otherwise, it keeps coming up all the time, and these 14 corridors, so-called corridors, are being constantly referred to all the time, and many of them are not feasible. My lord, if you can actually see this is the list of 14 corridors, and I will not go through all of this, but just as an illustration, if you could look at number.
Yeah. So one minute, Mr. Sukma. Mr. Nair, whatever you have enclosed with your affidavit.
Yes, sir.
It has all these 14, or in addition to this?
Sir, it has all these 14, sir. There is no addition to this, sir, actually.
So you're proceeding on this being the list of corridors.
These are the identified corridors, sir, which requires what you call it, sir, rationalization. And in our action plan, sir, we will be definitely suggesting those corridors which are functional.
All right.
In fact, we are in the process of identifying also, sir, which will take a little bit of time, sir, I think, because of constraints of finding out ground truthing, etc. But definitely, sir, it needs to be rationalized.
All right. Yes, Mr. Sukmar.
Thank you, Lordship. So, Lordship, if you just go down to number 13 and 14, and Kandhamal district, Kalhandi district, if you look at the length of the corridor, 77 kilometers.
Right.
75 kilometers. And these are defined in the original document as just very, very narrow corridors, 100 meters. But they are not marching in that direction. And the number of elephants that may have gone once 20 years ago, maybe 20 elephants may have gone through it. It's not clear whether elephants are still going. And
right.
One is no details are available about the elephant movement. And guess is that these were just arbitrary lines that were drawn, which was recognized by the Project Elephant Steering Committee almost 20 years ago. But somehow this is kind of injured in the reports and the literature and all the proceedings and judicial proceedings. So we need to rationalize this, as Mr. Nair said.
All right.
Okay. Now, this is the elephant carrying capacity report of Odisha's forests that we submitted in January 2018. It was the primary purpose was not corridors, Your Lordship. It was to look at a whole range of other issues, and we have made recommendations. But out of the 14 corridors, we identified 2 to be very, very important, because these cover these Simripal Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve and the Sambalpur to Mahanadi link that I just mentioned. These 2 corridors, Nugam Baruni and Hadgar Kuldia. Now, in the first one, Your Lordship, the Nugam Baruni corridor, there are obstacles to ongoing construction in the canal of the Manjur irrigation project. I'll project some photographs of that. The 2 canals have been constructed almost, they are like elephant-proof barriers. They don't allow the movement of elephant. And therefore, this development needs urgent attention and rectification. And the other corridor I'll come to, Your Lordship, where there is a lot of mining. So this is the Manjur canal. This is a Google Earth image, and this is the dam. And this is the canal running north to south. And the elephants coming from Mahanadi Elephant Reserve have to come and cross this, and then they have to go further north towards the Sambalpur Elephant Reserve.
Mm.
That's the only passage available.
Right.
And the construction that's going on. And this is taken some years ago when the study was being carried out in the field, I think around 2017 or so. And, then the paving. Now elephants very often cannot go down,
right?
And especially the family groups. Now there is just one bridge across it, but you will see a building in the background, Your Lordship, and therefore that might hinder the elephants from.
Right.
Very, very
they don't see green cover on the other side. Correct.
Don't green cover. It's
right.
And this is a different canal, Your Lordship. This is the Chilla Motichur canal in across the Ramganga in Uttarakhand, where after the construction initially no elephant used it. Then the male elephant started using it, and the people said that female elephants will never use it. But then the female elephants also started using it. And you dung, Your Lordship, and there is a vegetation cover on both sides of the bridge, and it functions as very effectively, Your Lordship. So my question, Your Lordship, is that more 2 or 3 bridges are put across. Not this bridge alone. This obstruction can be removed, green cover this side on the opposite side, and one or two more bridges, so that it is not, the entire corridor is not dependent on only one single passage. There are 2 or 3 passages across this where the elephants can cross. The next corridor, Your Lordship, is in the Mayurbhanj, that is the Simlipal landscape, and there are more than 100 plus stone quarries that obstruct the free movement of elephants. I do not know the exact land status. We have provided some details. They could be revenue lands, they could be private lands, they could be RF areas leased out, and Mr. Nair will be able to answer. But this is the kind of scenario there. And that's the other main thing with these 2 corridors. And then, Your Lordship, parallelly, there's been the Rite of Passage Elephant Corridors of India. This is a kind of an extensive exercise done across all the regions in the country. And I was also part of one of the editors of this report, where a number of people have contributed. To more than 40 or 50 scientists have contributed to this report, and in which for the state of Odisha, there are 9 corridors that have been listed as having medium to high feasibility. And this is the list of 9, out of which 2 which I have put in red are the ones that we also identified, and we focus our attention on that. But these are 9 corridors and not 14 corridors as was there in the Odisha Forest Department list given by the remote sensing agency. This needs now more attention. Now, I will not get into great details. I'm just coming to my end of my presentation, Lordship. The how to value or prioritize a corridor, location. A central corridor is more important than a peripheral corridor. Whether it's an exclusive corridor or multiple corridors are available, only a single passage is available, like in that Sambalpur Mahanadi, that Manjur Dam. It's very important to create, that passage or a broader passage or more than one passage for them. Geometry, the shorter one then versus the longer route, broader than the narrower, favorable.
How does, sorry to interrupt, sir, how does this interfere with other forms of wildlife, let's say leopards and other wildlife? I mean, what happens to them when these kind of things happen? Corridors are...
Your Lordship, generally, other animals, because they are smaller in body size,
right?
Leopards and tigers, they will go over, they will go through areas that even elephants cannot go through.
All right.
Typically, you have corridors for elephants and almost all other animals can use it, Your Lordship. And
right.
Also use other passages, I would say about 20 years. A few corridors have been actually achieved in the country, about 10 or a dozen corridors, largely by the efforts of Wildlife Trust of India and ANCR. And this includes different models. One is government purchase of land, like in Bandipur, a small area, Your Lordship, about 25-30 acres of land, which widened a corridor in Bandipur. And I actually facilitated that. This is the first elephant corridor in the country. Then we have community conserved corridors, because we have the provision of the community reserve under the Wildlife Protection Act. And so in the state of Meghalaya, Your Lordship, the local, because the community owns the forests and the land, they have declared a corridor for elephants and for gibbon. So, and they conserve the land. So it's a community conserved model. Private model where we have done surgical interventions in Kerala and Karnataka. In a few places, 10 acres of land, 20 acres of land. It's like the coronary artery is getting blocked, and we just remove that passage, and the elephants are going through. And then we have engineering solutions like the bridges across the canal, which are needed in some places, or a flyover, appropriate to a given situation. Your Lordship. And this is my last slide. The possible way forward is your suggestion, Your Lordship. The Odisha Forest Department, enough details are available for the 2 corridors, most important corridors, which will secure these 2 landscapes. Then they need to prepare a plan for securing the other 7 corridors, so 7 plus 2, 9. Right. Airport, which has got the endorsement. Then initiate a study in parallel to study the remaining elephant corridors, old and new, feasibility and importance. And in Your Lordship, my last contention point would be that any elephant corridor requires 2 seasons of observation, dry and wet season. So to know whether elephants are moving, because these are very seasonal movements sometimes. So 2 seasons are required, Your Lordship. Thank you for that opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sukumar. Right. Yes, Mr. Nair.
I'm here.
Mr. Sukumar, if you can just share that presentation of yours, we'll keep it as part of the record of the court.
Certainly. Right. Send it to us.
All right. Yes, Mr. Nair, please. To come back to our order and the previous day.
Sir.
So what has happened since the last hearing?
Sir, we have, in terms of the cases ongoing, sir, with regard to Simlipal, sir?
Yes.
Sir, our JTF, sir, Additional Superintendent of Police, sir, who is heading the investigative part of it, sir, investigation part of it, he was also in the field. I had also made a field visit, sir. So in case all the three accused, which unfortunately is part of our department, have been forwarded to judicial custody. Bails have been denied. And right now, sir, we are looking into the protection aspects of how it can be, how any such, poaching cases can be prevented in Simlipal Tiger Reserve, sir, actually. The field director is also very much there, sir, for the hearing. We have already tried to look at what had happened in terms of lacunae, because we lost a tiger also, tiger skin was also seized. So we are looking at both these aspects in great detail. And sir, if you may allow, I can ask the additional SP to give the details, sir, if the court so decides, sir, actually.
Yes,
what
yes.
exactly?
Yes, ask him to.
Namaskar, Milad. On 14th, as per direction of our chairman, I, along with my team members, had been to Baripada. There I had a vivid discussion with Deputy Director Simlipal and the investigating officer ACF Vidyasagar. I went through the documents prepared by them while forwarding all the three forest staff. And also I guided the investigating officer in preparing further records. On the very next day, I personally, along with team members, visited the spot where the elephant was burnt. While making thorough search, we could recover the decomposed trunk of the dead elephant, some burnt firewood, and we also collected sample yards from there. We handed over to the investigating officer, who properly seized and packed those exhibits. Those exhibits will not have been sent to Dehradun WII for chemical examination. And further, we got sent that the person who was caught by STF in tiger skin possession case is also the accused of elephant killing case. So
this must be part of one larger, I'm sure people are not operating individually. They must be part of some other larger group of people indulging in this.
Exactly, Milord. And so we are getting information about 2-3 other suspects, and we are under the process of verification of their complicity in the case. Recently, on last Tuesday, the IOS submitted a remand report against that tiger skin possessor who is in custody now, being forwarded by STF. And,
no. How quickly you act in terms of filing a charge sheet, beginning the trial, not only in this case, but the already pending cases. That's the only deterrence against this. Otherwise, this doesn't seem to be stopping at all.
Sir, so far we have also visited 5-6 divisions. I have personally reviewed the pending cases, and I have passed instructions to them and also guided to them to submit charge sheet as early as possible. But in Simlipal case, sir, we will file the charge sheet within 60 days limit, sir. We will not deviate the date. We are in the process of apprehending other accused persons in the case. That is, we think.
No, but even you seem to have slipped up on this. One witness committed suicide. That's what the press says. How did you allow this to happen? If he's your star witness, you obviously did not give him any protection.
Milord, he was under treatment in SCB Medical College. During treatment, it was not possible to interrogate him or question him anything.
No, but protection. You see, the question is he's committed suicide, which means obviously people did not take the measures necessary to.
Sir, may I come in this point, sir? Please.
Yes.
Sir, our field director Simlipal is also there, sir, and who has conducted the entire inquiry. And sir, if you permit, sir, may I kindly ask him to, sir, make us his statement, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Field director Simlipal, please.
So good morning, sir. Ashok Kumar, field director Simlipal, sir. Sir, after getting the information from the informer, Sankamali, immediately I've reached the spot, crime spot. I have done the field inquiry and investigation, sir. The next day, we have taken the action against the culprits who involved in the case, that the 3 accused staff. We have suspended immediately, sir. But the person who committed suicide, he is the protection assistant who has been engaged in Janabil for the last 2 years, sir. The thing is, he was also the part of the incident happened. We have after the suspension of the accused staff, the person who committed suicide, he was also there in Janabil, and our field Simlipal deputy director, he was also camping there in Janabil. We were giving protection to the informer and the protection assistant, sir, but unfortunately he has taken poison. We have immediately shifted for treatment to Karanjia. From there, he was referred to Cuttack Hospital, sir. I personally visited Cuttack Hospital. I have discussed with the doctor who was giving treatment. His condition was stable, but since the poison spread along over the main organs, his condition has become weak, and he declared death on 15th, sir. So main thing is the safety to the person. The key informer Sankamali, we have taken safety to him, and he has been re-engaged with the camp where he was there, sir.
No, but what preventive measures? See, the point is, how are you going to prevent these things from happening again? Why is this happening? Even when the High Court is seized of the matter, you have a case of poaching. How is this? Then what kind of confidence will people have in you? This reflects on your capacity to prevent poaching happening in Orissa. Is it not a very serious matter, sir? What preventive steps are you taking? What are the measures that you've put in place to ensure that this does not happen again?
Sir, we have taken the preventive measure that the boundary division, Karanjia, Rairampur, Paribada, their staff has been involved, sir. We have taken a joint patrolling in the buffer area wherever the possibility of people can enter to the Simlipal, sir. And we have the joint team with the Simlipal staff and the territorial staff. They are doing the day and night patrolling, so they are reporting me on a daily basis, sir.
Mr. Nair,
Sir.
How are you involving these long list of Gajasatis, and how is this whole system working? Do they pass on information? Do they talk to the villagers? Because these poachers suddenly can't appear overnight, and destroying evidence of having poached an elephant can't be possible without active cooperation of many people.
Sir, let me just, if I may take 5 minutes to explain, sir. Sir, the scheme of Gajasati, sir, is actually not applicable to Simlipal per se, sir. It is only applicable in other elephant movement areas and other divisions and other territorial divisions. In Simlipal, the method that is followed, sir, because it's a inviolate area, and in the core area, sir, which consists almost about 1,100 square kilometers, there are no villages. Only one village remains, so that is Bakua, that is in one of the edge of the core area. So it's largely an inviolate area where we have several protection camps, sir, as anti-poaching camp sheds, as they're called, in which the squads are deployed. And in the foothills, sir, because Simlipal is one of the largest and the first 9 tiger reserves that we have, it's about 2,750 square kilometers. And I've also worked there, sir, so I know how it operates, sir. So in the buffer, you have a large number of camps again, which form something like a sort of a ring around Simlipal. And it's a South Simlipal area, which is most crucial, sir, because that's where all our large number of elephants and the tigers right now reside. So, sir, this particular poaching case has come, to be very, very frank, sir, it has come as a complete surprise and shock to us. I think, sir, we are now completely. I am also, sir, looking at reworking the strategy. Despite having large number of camps, vehicles, people deployed, if such things happen, sir, which means that there are lacunae in place. A few things during my field visits, sir, I have also pointed it out. We are listing it down. What are the things which need to be done? To be very, sir, to put them in very brief, sir, short points, sir. So people connect is of utmost importance, sir, actually, in the sense that unless we have our own intelligence network, in the sense that every officer there, regardless of the rank, he does not have personal intelligence networks around the villages, sir, it is very difficult to prevent, sir, because it's like an open treasury, sir. Second, sir, actually, unless patrolling, sir, in the sense that foot patrolling is done in a very, very intelligent manner, sir. There's no point having apps and devices and then showing a large number of patrolling hours. But if it's done in a very targeted manner, touching those crucial points which has to be touched, actionable intelligence being acted upon, sir, I think we will definitely yield. That will definitely yield results, sir. And Simlipal, as of now, we speak, it's in a very, it's poised for a tiger recovery. After many years, there are female tigresses breeding, cubs are there. So it's sir, we are completely seized of the matter, and under your, you have given so much of time to the matter, and we all of us assure that we'll rise up to the occasion, actually. And as part of our comprehensive action plan that we'll be submitting, we'll be emphasizing certain actionable points, very specific actionable points.
Right.
And Simlipal has got a tiger conservation plan, sir, TCP as it is called. The current TCP is expired and the new TCP is currently under preparation. So last TCP is a very exhaustive document, sir, which lists very, very specific, very large number of actionable points. For various reasons, some of them, have not been followed entirely. So right now, what we are trying to do is, as soon as, even before preparing the new TCP, which is under progress, we will look into each of these aspects and see how they can be strengthened, sir. And Mayurbhanj being a very large district and a tribal district, unless you have the honorary wildlife wardens taken on board and a very close connect with people, sir, these things will happen. So my approach would be to handhold and strengthen the entire team, the Simlipal team, which is fairly young, sir, including the field director, both the deputy directors, 4-5 ACF, the entire lot. And sir, also the staff strength also, sir, is a matter of a concern in a way, because unless we have good staff being deployed, it will be an issue, sir. That also, sir, we are looking into it. But sir, I'm sure that this will be an eye opener, sir. And we are all distressed.
And sir, bring on board wherever there have been successful conservation efforts, whether it's in the south part of India or wherever. Please bring on board those kind of experts who've succeeded in making a difference. Don't hesitate to take their inputs, just like Mr. Sukumar's inputs. Any other expert you have elsewhere in the country who've been successful in implementing measures.
Absolutely, sir. And JTF has been given a chance to, given a kind of an open hand by the government, so to say, to induct how many of our experts we want, sir. We are in constant dialogue with a few people who have worked remarkably well in wildlife crime detection. And that includes a couple of people in Karnataka who have worked closely with the Karnataka Forest Department. So we are bringing them to conduct workshops. And capacity building, sir, is also a very, very important component that we'll be looking at, almost giving a timetable as to how workshops have to be done, carried out across the spectrum of the staff, starting from forest guards onwards, right up to the top.
All right. What about, just to go back to the police officers sitting with you?
Milord, can I take one question?
Yes, please.
Mr. Nair, we are all discussing about Mayurbhanj. What happens tomorrow if there's a case in Dhenkanal or Sambalpur? Please address the Honorable Court on that also. You see, we don't want another case. We look at Mayurbhanj and something is happening in Dhenkanal or Sambalpur. What steps are being taken for that?
Sir, absolutely, sir. Thank you for bringing that point, sir. As far as Orissa is concerned, sir, I'll just flag the point that we have certain premier protected areas, sir, which are given the paramount importance and are the crucibles of biodiversity in the state. Simlipal, Bhitarkanika, Gahirmata, and a host of another 14 protected areas, sir. Denkanal, Angul, parts of Atmalik, parts of Sambalpur, these are all, sir, in a way, territorial forest divisions protected only as reserve forest and focus not being wildlife protection. But, sir, your point is absolutely very well taken, because in our action plan, although we have very short time to make it, sir, actually, we are trying to gather as much as field information as possible, sir. And what we'll try to do, it will be not just in Simlipal or in the protected areas, but wherever, even in territorial divisions also, what could be done? What are the steps that need to be taken, sir? We will try our very best to address those issues and put it down as actionable points, sir. Point very well taken, sir. Not just in Simlipal, sir. We will focus our attention on other areas also. But Simlipal is the crown jewel, so to say, of Orissa, sir. That's the reason why I was emphasizing on Simlipal, sir. Thank you.
In fact, no, so Mr. Sukumar also made the point about finding a way to connect the Sambalpur Reserve and the Mahanadi Reserve.
Ji, sir.
I hope you noted that and you're addressing that as well.
Sir,
because he said 75% of the elephant population is between these two.
Sir, what Dr. Sukumar, I mean, it was an exhaustive presentation, sir, which are very comprehensive. Said 75% of the elephant population is confined to all the 3 elephant reserves, sir.
Right.
Of which all 3 elephant reserves, sir. And this particular, Dr. Sukumar had very correctly pointed about that bottleneck, the Manjur Canal, in which he showed a few pictures also. Sir, I'm very glad to say that, sir, that those crossing points have been identified and the overpasses that were to be constructed, it falls under DFO Atmalik. So as part of our ground truthing exercises as to see how corridors can be connected, sir, we have come to know that, sir, the 2 bridges have been done, sir, if I'm not wrong. 2 overpasses have already been done.
Okay.
And one is under process, sir. We'll get back to you, sir. We'll get back to you after clear-cut ground truthing, as we are doing on the corridors. And when the study on corridors takes place, sir, all these things I'm sure will be addressed, sir.
Or in fact, if I may be allowed to intervene,
yes.
Here, in the month of August, I had given a set of suggestions. One of the suggestions I've given a copy for the court at point number C was improving intelligence. That's at the point capital C. Improving intelligence at the ground level. This can be one of the preventive measures.
Actually, they have in this affidavit, if you go through it, they've said how they will have Gajasati volunteers also acting as first line of response to alert villages about elephant movements.
My lord, this is about collecting. He did mention in the course of this discussion,
yes,
collecting intelligence. For that, they have to develop a network.
Yes.
So Gajashatis is a issue which will also touch with this, but they probably have to connect with the local people. That point was mentioned.
No, it is there in this. Anyway, you can go through it.
Yes.
They seem to say that they'll involve the local population as well.
Paragraph 3.1.
Yes.
This is something which your
I
lordship
have also
can
suggested certain particular matters. My lord will kindly find, I submit today, I have roved certain corridors. In the meantime, your lordship may believe me or may not believe me, we are breaking our heads, the courts are breaking their heads, but elephant problem will not be solved unless elephants are fed properly. They are not getting food nowhere. We are talking of their way, their living place, the corridor, but they are not getting anything, any food. That your lordship to decide and direct them that how they are to get the food, but they depend upon this not all types of leaves, only banana and banyan. They can do it.
Anyone else wants to say anything? Yeah.
See, if I may be permitted to say something, Lordship. I am nearer to this Chamka area right now, Lordship. Yesterday, there are 20, this elephant are hardly 2 kilometers away from the Chamka wildlife range, Lordship. Around 20 elephants from Chamka to Barbara, they used to move in every quarterly, Lordship. And they used to move in between Khordha and Noyagad border. Particularly in Noyagad district, Lordship, the jungle, the forests are Barbara, Jamungan. Then these are the biggest Asia's teak reserve, Lordship, and Sankhojudi. In these areas, there is a minor irrigation project. This minor irrigation project was developed last 45 years, but this elephant used in these areas since last 10 years, Lordship. 2 months before, Lordship, what has happened? One elephant has been poached, one elephant died because of the electrocution. How this electrocution took place, Lordship? The man in which land the elephants they used to eat that, Lordship, they put the electric wire and that elephant died, Lordship. And one man, the entire village has been kept on by the police, Lordship, and the one man, he surrendered that, yes, I have committed, Lordship. Lordship, what do you pray in this particularly Chandka to Banpur? It is a kind of, the elephants, they used a kind of new corridor, Lordship. So what I pray, the chief may take up this issue, Lordship. And they used to have a Lordship. What has happened in this Damapada wildlife range area, Lordship? A kind of grass. This grass is to be used by these elephants, Lordship. This kind of feeding is to be provided to them, so that they will not enter into the habitats, Lordship.
All right. Yes.
May I please, Madam? I have given some news articles, Madam, where it clearly shows, Madam, this Tularam Purti Malad, the person who is the prime witness of this Simlipal incident, Malad. He was brutally tortured in the beat house, and then after he's been given poison and he has died.
All this
yesterday, the wife of this Tularam Purti has lost an affair in Josipur police station, Malad. So I pray, Malad, proper direction may be given to the proper authority to investigate this matter, Malad. And beside that, Malad, one Sankha Mahili is the Mahunta of the elephant which is died 2 days back, Malad Sobha. He was also detained. And Mr. Nair is there. He can also, at that time, he was present in the Simlipal sanctuary, Malad, when this person was detained for more than 2 days, Malad, not to disclose the truth before the media, Malad. And all these things are there in the...
So just not go by all this, sir. We have to do serious work.
Killed, Malad. It's murdered.
So if you start reacting to every news item,
no,
you have to go in depth. The problem is we should not just you get up in the morning, you open the newspaper, you see something, you start reacting to it.
The wife of the
beyond that.
Wife of the deceased person lost her affair.
It's just again unsolicited advice. You may not like this advice, but as a lawyer, you have to go beyond reading newspapers. Our duty is not to go by just newspapers. Our duty is to go doing more research. See, if you watch this presentation for 1 hour, you'll now realize what I told you in the very first hearing. That's a very complex problem. There's a lot of science involved in this, and it's much more than what you think it is. See, newspapers can capture only this much.
The affair is lost.
So, as lawyers, if you're serious in public interest law, if you're otherwise like any other ordinary person, reacting to news items, that is one thing. If you're serious about public interest lawyering, then you have to do much more work. But that's why just reacting like this endlessly to newspapers has to stop.
Here, the person who is disclosing the truth, Malad.
See, this is what, as a lawyer, once you say this is the truth, as a lawyer, what the newspaper says is truth is very different from what gets established in a court, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, Malad.
But here you have read this newspaper.
You're the wife.
Whatever this news item says is truth. You're implicitly believing it is truth, correct? As a lawyer, you have to be better, sir. See, as an ordinary person, non-lawyer reading, they can form their own opinion depending on what the news item says. But as a lawyer, you have to be. Your approach has to be different.
But here the wife of the deceased person.
That's right. You have to be different from the non-lawyer, sir. Otherwise, what's the difference?
But here the wife of the deceased person, he has lost the affair, Malad, and all these documents should be produced before this honorable court, Malad. That Josipur, where this affair has been registered. Let it may be asked to Mr. Nair, Malad. He can clarify because on that day he was present there in Simlipal.
How they get the food, my lord. That is the most important factor for elephants. They are not getting food. That's where roaming here and there, coming back again, getting into villages. That's your
so the thing is, sir, you are really obviously an elephant expert, but we are not.
No.
And we thought we were hearing some elephant experts, but clearly you are a better expert.
No.
Yes. So
I only.
anyway, that's all right, sir. That's all right.
Facts,
That's all right.
I have little experience about the.
No, that's what. See, each of us believe what we think is the correct solution, but it has to be addressed in a, more scientific way.
More scientific approach.
And it has to be left to experts, sir. Some matters have to be left to experts. The minute we as lawyers, as judges, presume we know the solution, then the problem starts.
We are completely dependent on their knowledge, Your Lordship.
We have to.
Only difficulty we
See,
face now.
in any public interest litigation of this nature, if lawyers and judges start deciding what is the right thing to do, then we are in serious trouble. So it's better to go by the experts or a wide range of experts.
We depend upon many persons.
And who have far greater experience, sir.
And one thing.
So you are coming to the court every day arguing your cases to the best of your ability, right? If now the wildlife warden wants to come into the court and tell us, listen, this is how you should argue your cases, you will take great offense, wouldn't you? You will say, what do you know, sir? You don't know about court, about law, about language to use. What is the solution? If he starts offering solutions, sir, in this case, this is the solution. You will say, please, sir, you leave that to me. You tell me what your problem is and we'll try and find the solution in law. So likewise.
That's why I'm submitting. The food is not available to the elephants.
All right.
If the food is not available, they have to die.
All right.
My lord, may under the circumstances, I'm appearing in person, my lord, and I'd like to make a few humble suggestions after hearing Dr. Sukumar and the task force. My lord, in Kerala, there are 6,000 elephants, but there are no man-elephant conflict.
No, not true.
Not much.
In fact, if you heard Dr. Sukumar, he said how they try to resolve that.
Yes, my lord.
Don't presume that there was nothing there. It happened over a period of time.
They resolved it. My lord, my humble suggestion is that they have submitted a corridor map of the corridor. If the same could be superimposed on the mining maps, then my lords, in the same area covering 14 districts, there are many unused mines, my lords. So instead of giving, that's a mining policy of the government, instead of giving new leases for mines, if those unused mines
but the elephants should move there.
Yes,
the elephants may choose not to go there at all.
Yes, madam.
You have to deal with, this is like I'm sorry to be in a lighter vein.
Yes,
somebody was searching for something and, he was under the lamppost. They said, where did you drop your stuff? He said, there. They said, why are you searching here? He said, because there is light here.
Yes,
so it shouldn't be that because there is a free area there, it becomes a corridor. It can't.
Yes,
the elephants must come there.
Yes, madam.
If the elephants have long ago decided, listen, these are area of mines, we cannot go that area at all, they may not be tempted to go back there at all.
Yes, ma'am. My second suggestion, humble suggestion is, my lords, on the board, my lord, we need, as rightly pointed out, that to restore the food, they have lost their institutional memories by now, which has over the last 10 years. We can have taxonomists and agro specialists.
Ms. Padi, you're also now another expert now who has emerged.
No,
all right.
Not at
all. No. I'm just saying.
Suggestions.
So, those suggestions, if you want, you can write to the JTF, this Joint Task Force. Yes. They'll definitely consider it.
My lords, another suggestion, my lords, is that in Kerala again, 800 crores was assigned for purchasing of private estate, which falls in the
He just mentioned that. He said, in fact, they helped acquire. He actually mentioned this. Dr. Sukumar said that in Kerala, they helped the government acquire land to create these, what he called, surgical interventions.
Yes,
he used the word surgical intervention, if you remember that.
In my third suggestion, my lord, is that conservancy, as envisaged in the act also, that if supposing a wetland which has biodiversity falls in the in private ownership, then the government takes it over as a lease, whether it's a lifelong bond is given. So if the elephants have now got into private areas, that could be considered for the government.
No, so what happens is usually, again, PILs, you see, we have to look at all the conflicting interests involved, right? If land is suddenly going to be acquired, obviously some private individuals will be affected, farmers will be affected. It has its own set of problems.
Yes, my lord.
Right?
But that could
so
just as
this has to be very carefully dealt with.
Yes, my lord. And the last suggestion is that the government is doing great work in that. is that earlier the tribals were given patta to live in the forest areas. Now the government is luring them away from forest areas by compensating and giving a 1 crore for resettlement. So if that could be considered for settlements which are on the corridor, for which there's a huge man-animal conflict. So just mere suggestions, just my 4 suggestions, my lord.
No, but each of these suggestions, I think, just like I was telling Mr. Mishra, we need to go beyond, we have to study a lot.
Yes, my lord.
Because
I'll
each
file
of
an
these,
affidavit to that.
each of these suggestions, after studying properly.
Yes, my lord.
Each of these suggestions means that there are several other interests which will create another set of conflicts. Once you say, by giving money, you ask villagers in the periphery to resettle, you should study the pattern that's happening all around the country. There's a lot of resistance because you are changing the life pattern of those villagers.
But
And you're cutting off their access to their forests, which they've lived with all their lives. So we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
See,
It's been
suggestions
successfully done by a government with regard to tribals.
No, the word successfully itself is fraught. Successful from whose point of view is the question? So these are questions that are being asked world over. Yes. All right. Success from your point of view, unsuccessful from another point of view.
Maybe.
So that's why I request each of you to study things in depth.
Yes,
see, all of us are well-meaning. You're well-meaning. We both are well-meaning. But well-meaning is not enough. That's why we need experts.
Absolutely.
Because they get into the complexities of these problems. All right.
Obliged, please.
You see, the court has had the benefit of a PowerPoint presentation by Dr. Raman Sukumar. Explain what the present active elephant corridors are. Stop, he's identified 9 of them, 2 of which form part of the earlier understood 14 elephant corridors. Stop. He has explained, in the virtual presence of the Joint Task Force, headed by Mr. Manoj Nair, the Principal Chief Conservator Forests, and the Field Officer of the Simlipal Tiger Reserve, as well as the physical presence in court of the Learned Advocate General and senior counsel, as well as counsel appearing on behalf of the petitioners. Certain useful suggestions on how to ensure safe passage for elephants across Orissa. Stop. He has made a point about providing additional bridges to link 2 important reserves, namely the Sambalpur Reserve and the Mahanadi Reserve, where at least 70 to 75% of the elephant population of approximately 2,000 in Orissa today are active. Stop. Mr. Nair states that in the action plan that has been drawn up by the Joint Task Force, many of these elements are being addressed and will be accounted for. Stop. The PowerPoint presentation of Dr. Sukumar be kept as part of the record, and copies thereof will be provided to all counsel on both sides. Paragraph. An affidavit dated 21st December 2022 has been filed by Mr. Dr. Nair, the Chief Conservator of Forests, explaining the scheme of Gajasatis and stating that in the current year, the scheme has been scaled up and 5,457 volunteers have been engaged in 1177 villages. Full stop. It stated that a Jana Surakya Gaja Rakshya scheme has been rolled out to encourage public-community partnership, having provision for solar fencing with 90% cost being borne by the state. Stop. Also to prevent electrocution of elephants and other wild elements. Bear conductors if the elephant movement area to an extent of 2354 kilometers has already been insulated out of the identified stretches of 3814 kilometers. Stop. It is stated that in addition, another 4444 kilometers of bare conductors and 31,000 electrical points have also been identified. Stop. Based on the data of human-elephant conflict, 32 ranges and 19 divisions have been identified to be the most conflict-prone ranges. Full stop. The affidavit also lists out the interventions made for habitat improvements, including creation of 34 water bodies, renovation of 26 water bodies, 44 water harvesting structures, and meadow development over 200 hectares, and over 1 lakh bamboo seed ball plantation. Paragraph. A list of the Gajasati volunteers has been enclosed with the affidavit. Full stop. As regards the remapping of elephant corridors, although the affidavit maps showing those corridors, Dr. Nair has stated how steps are being taken through Project Elephant, Government of India, to confirm the viability of the corridors. Pursuant to a meeting held on 22nd April 2022, under the chairmanship of the Director, Project Elephant, Government of India. Stop. So the NGT is also seized of it, is it?
Yes. Well, the NGT there was this matter which was in the NGT that had actually been listed 2-3 days back. The order we have not uploaded, so there was a direction to notify these wildlife corridors, these elephant corridors. However, since
I think you should bring it to the notice of the NGT that the court is seized of it,
please,
so that there are no conflicting orders.
Please,
yeah. Steps are being taken to declare the Simlipal Kuldiha Hadiagad traditional elephant corridor as a conservation reserve under Section 38 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Full stop. Paragraph. As regards the incident of elephant death in Simlipal, it is stated that 3 forest officials have been arrested under the Wildlife Protection Act and forwarded to the court of the SDJM Udala and remanded to judicial custody. Paragraph. The court inquired from the field officer Simlipal of the circumstances under which one of the witnesses in the case had committed suicide. Full stop. The court has been assured that in the said case, the charge sheet will be filed at an early date and the case taken to its logical conclusion. Full stop. You've given a copy of these suggestions to...
Yeah. They were given in August to the government. They have acted on most of it.
All right.
Only this grassroots I wanted to draw your attention.
Certain further suggestions have been given on the side of the petitioners by counsel appearing on their behalf, which have been listened to by the JTF, which has participated in virtual mode today. And Mr. Nair and Dr. Nair will take those into consideration while drawing up the action plan. Paragraph. What was the original date we had fixed in January?
18th January.
We'll continue on that date.
Your Lordship may say, my Lord, Mr. Sukumar's presentation will be filed and kept on record.
Yes, I've already said that. Yes.
If I can suggest that whatever he said, if that can be separately also kept in a, because what he said was also very important. His PowerPoint presentation would be there, but his explanation, if it can be segregated and kept, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know how we do that. All right. So each of you, Ms. Padi, Mr. Mishra, Ms. Monty, all of you can give your suggestions. It will be open to the lawyers to give the written suggestions to the JTF. You see list on.
My Lord, there is hardly any time. They can give suggestions as early because by 18th we have
at
to
the earliest. Yeah, we
sound.
say at the earliest. You see list on 18th January.
My Lord, at 10:30.
10:30.
Yes.
See, the advantage of the hybrid hearing is
I
this.
know.
Actually, I'm not aware of how many of you are aware. All over India, people keep watching these proceedings.
My Lord, let me tell you, Lordship, my Lord.
Outside India.
I was away and I was called by the Honorable Supreme Court to appear in a matter. It's so much difficult to access. You have to have a link, you have to have a permission. And here anybody can go and watch the proceeding. I think we are the best. That's what everybody says.
No, also it's informative. You see, I think once people all over are able to watch, it's very informative for
and
them.
all these young people nowadays, they are working on their iPads.
That is the future. That is
I know.
the future. Right.
And media people are only following these YouTubes and giving their
Also accurate. The reporting
yes, that
gets
is
more
accurate news. Accurate news.
Correct. All right.
We agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
My Lord, before your Lordship starts, can I make a mention?
Yes, yes.
My Lord, this is an assignment of Honorable Court number 5, my Lord.
All right.
I had mentioned yesterday, memo was allowed, but somehow it was not listed. Today I mentioned the court refused to hear because board is heavy. My Lord, it's an urgent matter. Anganwadi appeal against I have come up in a writ. I'll be losing my job today. Any bench is convenient to Lordship because unless, or else I would not have disturbed your Lordship.
See, if the assigned bench is not in a position to take it up, that may not be proper.
I have no other option but to mention before. I leave it to your Lordship. It's my fate, my Lord. I'll try my best for my client. It's up to his fate.
So I'll ask the DR to place the paper. Let me see what it is.
Today, before any available bench, if you're
not today, it can be only tomorrow. It can't be today.
Tomorrow, my Lord. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'm sorry I disturbed your Lordship.
All right. All
right. Supplementary list, old matter, item number 1.
Item number 1, your Lordship, on behalf of Mrs. Pamirat, Lordship, this matter has already been settled outside of the court.
All right. Counsel, the petitioner informs the court. The matter already has been settled. The petition is disposed of as having become infectious.
Lordship, Mrs. Nath's name may be
yes, definitely.
Obliged, Lordship.
Item number 2.
Lordship, item 2 is matter of 2013, Lordship. But a huge calm, Lordship, only Lordship may permit me. Can I place all my representations before vigilance, Lordship, that it can be inquired upon?
Better he should approach the Lokayukta. Because
no, not Lokayukta. Lordship say vigilance because case is pending since 2014. They have taken up investigation. I will be there, Lordship. And I'll make a representation there and they take a decision.
Counsel, the petitioner seeks leave to withdraw the present petition with the liberty to approach the appropriate authorities.
Lordship, the Director of Vigilance, Lordship.
No, appropriate authorities, whoever is the appropriate, with a representation. Disposed of is withdrawn with liberty is paid. All right.
Lordship, can I use some observation, Lordship? They'll act upon my representation, Lordship.
That.
Otherwise, they'll share.
Sure, you'll come back if they do not, sir. Your question. Yes.
Item number 3.
None appears dismissed.
Item number 4.
None appears dismissed.
Item number 5.
Same.
In item 5, I am appearing for the Union of India.
All right.
Item number
4, I am also appearing for it.
All right.
Item number 6.
Infructuous.
But it has become infructuous.
Infructuous. Dismissed.
I'm okay. Number
memo was taken on record, dismissed as infructuous.
Item number 7.
Yes.
It
is TK Reddy.
Yes, Mr. Reddy.
Yes, sir.
In the as mentioned this time, the affidavit has been filed by the SI of police as well as Commissioner Endowment. I have not received the copy of that one. One of my associates is there.
Yes, I will solve. Who is his associate? Kindly. You are there. Oh,
You are the associate, is it? What's your name, please? Your name, please?
Ramchandra Patnaik.
Mr. Ramchandra Patnaik, advocate and associate of the petitioner, is present. A copy of the affidavit of the collector Ganjam shall be served on him forthwith. List on.
I'll give.
As per direction of the 11/8/21, it is SI of police who is to file affidavit.
That affidavit I will solve.
All right. 7th February.
The submission item number 8. Item number 8.
Mr. Mishra is here. Item 8 is central excise. All right. None appears dismissed.
Item number 9.
Same order.
Item number 10.
Item number 10, no instruction, my lord.
All right.
This is
no instruction.
Connected case, a WBC 1329, 12390, 2016.
Third one, my lord. So I am appealing for Cuttack development.
All right. So he was in 13239, is it?
13239, my lord.
There you say no instructions dismissed. Who's in the others?
In second case, my lord, representation had annexure 4 is pending before CDO, my lord. Annexure 4, my lord.
12521. Make a fresh representation, sir. In 12521, counsel petitioner states that he will make a fresh representation to the government. If such representation is made not later than 6th February, it should be considered and an appropriate order passed thereon by. To whom are you making the representation?
Yes, ma'am.
To the chief district medical officer.
Yes, sir. CDMO.
To the chief district medical officer Cuttack. After hearing the petitioner, within a period of 4 weeks thereafter. No further directions are called for. This writ petition is disposed of. 12521. First one who's appearing? 2592.
First one, my lord, brother is appearing.
Same, no instructions. All right, dismissed. All right.
Item number 11.
May I please? Lord, here the question of frame is page 20. Lord, here is case, Lord, the extract. Lord, pass the order that it is come within the ambit of circular monetary limit. But fact remain, Lord, it is not coming within the limit of the circular. Your Lordship, here is a case. Your Lordship, see.
Then you file a recall there, is it? Necessary. There's no power to recall.
Equivalent to the duty.
All right. Second May.
God bless you.
Item number 12.
In this case, the petitioner filed the PIL for removal of the encroachers and demolish the house construction over the road and the ponds, my lord. And it is admitted by the opposition of Tahsildar Mahanga that there are 15% encroaching the lands. In paragraph number 5, my lord, paragraph 5, it is admitted by the Tahsildar that there are 15 encroachers in the 2019, my lord. But till today, though they have booking the encroachment case, nothing has happened and nothing has developed, my lord. They are till today they are residing over the roads and over the ponds. They are closing the ponds, my lord.
All right, petitioner's representation, bracket annexure 5, will be examined by the collector. Tahsildar Mahanga, and after notice to the petitioners and parties 8 to 12, and after giving them a hearing, the reasoned order shall be passed thereon, not later than 3rd April 2023. Copy of the order be made available to the parties within a week thereafter. The court clarifies it is not expressed in the matter.
Item number 13.
Oblige.
Item 13, my lord, may I audible, my lord? My lord, may I audible?
Yes, yes.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I'm in a different place.
No,
But,
that's okay.
Yesterday, I filed 16/9/2022. 16/9/2000, my lord has passed a specific order about filing the affidavit.
Right.
We have filed the affidavit to all the annexures, my lords. Unfortunately, one patient is at what they have informed last occasion. And 13 patients are present before the.
We haven't received the affidavit. You have
given
Yes, we have filed affidavit. I am along with Lieutenant JJ. I am appearing for the central government. We have already filed online. Yesterday, I filed. This is the copy, hard copy.
The copy they have subbed me today, just now. But what has actually happened, my lord, out of the lot, one patient, my lord, he had gone to Calcutta. There, my lord, they have given him time from 15th to 30th January. What is happening, my lord? What my humble prayer is, my lord, the treatment which, my lord, even for physiotherapy, my lord, the present petitioners, they don't have any fund to provide that. My lord, in the state of Bihar, in the meantime, they have allotted 6 lakhs each to the family of the patients for the treatment. But they have categorically mentioned in their counter that 50 lakhs is the fund which they can give for each patient. So out of that 50 lakhs, if they will provide 6 lakhs as that has been done in Bihar, but at least they can do something for their children. For physiotherapy also, but they are not in a position to come to Cuttack or Bhubaneswar to stay there and to go for physiotherapy. In between also, today also I have filed an application, including 9 children, ballot. Those who are suffering, they have also come before my lord. I am filing a IA today. As because my lord, I am going for pro bono, my lord, I have not filed. I have not said they don't go for separate writ. I have just added them in as opposite petition number PQRST, like my lord. They have also paid for the same benefit, ballot, as I have stated with regards to 15 ballot patients.
I am not.
At least by Lord Print should understand the pity of the parents. Ballot, at least 6 lakhs is nothing for this union government. Ballot, 6 lakhs per patient.
It cannot be given. It cannot be given.
That has been provided by Bihar government. At Bihar ballot, in pursuant to the writ applications ballot, I have been given the copy of the order which has been passed by Patna High Court. 6 lakhs is nothing, but if they are found to be genuine patients.
Where is the Patna High Court order? Mr. Padi, when will they give that financial assistance?
My lord, there is a specific scheme of the government of India. Based on the particular disease can be included in that scheme. It is not the disease which is included in the scheme. And those particular hospitals, we have identified 9 hospitals in AIIMS, all over India, including the AIIMS Delhi. Then whenever they required to, suppose anybody in Barampur or he can easier to the Hyderabad, is the center, or any Delhi, they can prefer and choose it. Whatever expenses coming, their hospital will taken care of, accordingly they have acted upon. These directors have a limited scope because this patient cannot be given. This is such a disease it is. I can't express because when this doctor told me that even though you have spent crores of rupees, it can be recoverable. So it only to wait the time and again. Basing on that particular scheme is not covering this. We have given this specific affidavit in this regard. What I am saying, my lord.
This should not be the submission of my lord and friend.
My lord,
the parents are there in the
I am not against anybody, or I don't want that those kids are ignored and they should be thrown out. I am not saying this. My friend should not misunderstand me. This patient, suppose such a patients are coming to the AIIMS, it's required to be give health assistance in very much manner. My lord, you may see the type of patients is coming to AIIMS, and his financial aids is very much required for them. Those are the patients. To be given treatment, I am not on the way, but this way they want that we require financial assistance and given this special attendance. It is not included in the scheme. Anyhow, my lord, if Lordship want, then I can take the instruction in this regard.
No, after he says in Patna High Court, there's an order.
No, my lord, the government has given, my lord, not Patna High Court.
They give a copy of the same. I can take the instruction after opening Lordship. Take the, then I can.
I have given, my lord, government has given, my lord, considering the gravity of the situation, from Mukhyamantri Yojana, my lord, they have given 6 lakhs.
State government may be given.
Then it is the state government. That is the state government.
State government. At least, my lord, state government, my lord and friend is there. If the Mahanti is there, my lord, he can take care of.
All right. Then first, right at the beginning, you say an affidavit dated 19th December 2022 has been filed by the Executive Director, AIIMS Bhubaneswar, enclosing details of the care and treatment provided to the 16 children, to 15 of the 16 children, with the 16, Ashish Pradhan remaining absent. Full stop.
We have
stated that each of the 15 children have been referred to centers, various centers of excellence, where they will be provided treatment. Paragraph. Mr. D.P. Dalal, Senior Counsel appearing for the petitioners, states that in Bihar, under the Chief Minister's
but we have also added opposite party number 4. We have made opposite party for Biju Swasthya Kalyan Yojana. We have also got that under the state government matter.
All right. Under the Chief Minister's Relief Fund, a sum of 6 lakhs has been sanctioned for each of the children affected by DMD, and prays that a similar benefit be extended to these children by the state government. Mr. Ishwar Mohanty, under additional standing counsel, states that he will seek instructions on this in this regard and inform the court on the next date. Paragraph. This you say list on, just need the date. 8th February. 8th February. You say IA number blank 2022. In this application, details of 9 children similarly affected by. It's not only DMD. I think you're now talking some Becker muscular dystrophy.
That is the type of destruction.
No, what is the skipping EXON? What is EXON?
That is their balance. In the earlier case also we have they are mentioning skipping exon.
Action or
exon, EXON.
What does that mean?
That's in the gene manual.
See, such a disease, my lord, it is coming a different
In
manner.
fact, really, my lord, it's exceptional. My lord, it's a rarest of the rare disease.
It is rarest disease, my lord. Yes, it is a rarest.
You see, notice Mr. Pari accepts notice. The directed aims is directed to again arrange to evaluate these 9 children on the same basis as the evaluation of the 16 children was earlier done, by informing the parents of such children. But your details of the parents are not given here.
Ballot?
The details of the parents of these children are not given in this application.
Yes, Ballot. I'll give it back.
At least 1 week in advance of the date on which they should come for the consultation. We'll stop counsel for the petitioner undertakes to provide Mr. Padi the complete details of the parents of each of these 9 children. So, list on same day.
Yes, if I may just bring to my lord's notice, on 10th December, in fact, there was a hearing before the Honorable Delhi High Court, where the center said that due to the exorbitant price, the amount involved in treating this particular disease, so this Delhi High Court has in fact directed the center to come up with a crowdfunding scheme and give it publicity. So I'll give that order, Millards.
Awesome.
We have also mentioned in our petition.
For example, for Lordship, another same item, another read petition is there, 35002. The Lordship may include the petition of the Ansuman Mahapatra. He also has a similar.
Which item number? Which item number is it?
Same item number, sub item.
So same order will apply.
Yes, yes. We can do whoever come.
Or
different council appearing with mail or their different name will be reflected.
Or
item 14.
So in that 35002, you say the present petitioner, this petition also will be evaluated by the AIMS Bhubaneswar on the same basis as the 16 children in WP Civil 2550 of 2022. And the date of such the evaluation be informed to the parents, the present petitioner. At least 1 week in advance.
Supplemental list item number 14.
14, my lord, I have a very small prayer. I am challenging here the inaction of the Tahsildar in implementing the appellate court's order. Encouragement proceeding, my lord. It's the order is at page 27. So let them let the Tahsildar execute the appellate court's order.
Yes, Mr. Manti.
This PIL is for execution of sub-collector's order before the Tahsildar. If this type of PIL will be filed, then
no, my lord. Actually, we had filed this as a regular.
Represent before the Tahsildar. Then they should represent that there is an order.
There is a representation.
My lord, we had it's a second round of litigation. We had initially approached this honorable court by regular writ, whereas the coordinate bench referred this matter as a public interest litigation.
Maybe, but that
you already filed contempt, which was disposed of on 7th April.
Then after the Tahsildar initiated an encroachment proceeding, and the opposite party number 4, who is the encroacher, preferred the appeal before the sub-collector. Now the
Tahsildar notice, Mr. Manti accepts notice to opposite party number 4 by registered speed post, returnable on the next date. The tracking report will be placed in record paragraph. The opposite party state will inform the court on the next date of the action taken for implementation of the order passed in appeal by the sub-collector. List on 9th February.
Item number 15.
Lordship, here, Lordship, can you remember a similar matter? So for the Gajpati district council, Lordship interfered within 3 days, they stopped, Lordship. This mining activities by of the mechanized manner. Your Lordship kindly see Annex 3 and Lordship kindly see page 40. See, covering mining operation, Lordship, that is Roman 4. no occurring apparition of sand shall be allowed through mechanized means and suction method, Lordship. It is a prohibition under their own guidelines, Lordship, and it is allegation just 100 meters away from this honorable institution,
Why aren't you
Lordship.
going to the NGT, sir?
Lordship, kindly see, it is only 100 meters away from this institution, Lordship. A Lordship must have seen in every day, Lordship, they are using hundreds of, Lordship, excavators. And they are, Lordship, lifting the sands, which is not permissible in the eye of law. Lordship, kindly see their own guideline they have prepared, that is Annex 3 state government's guideline.
No, your representation was made when?
My representation, Lordship, can say
10/11/22.
No, Lordship, several representations, Lordship. That's one of the Lordship, kindly see the next. I have given number of, we have, Lordship, all the villagers, Lordship. I have given number of representations.
What is that to show it has been given?
Lordship.
Proof of giving the representation. Where's the proof of that?
But Lordship, you kindly see that here is the proof, Lordship. It is Lordship must have seen every day, Lordship. It is happening, Lordship. It is a river Kathajodi, Lordship. River Kathajodi and Lordship last second pointed out. And
I think similar type of cases are also, these allegations
NGT.
are also made before the NGT that there is mechanism. So let them go to NGT. These are all the matters which are to be dealt with by
But
the
your
NGT.
guidelines is there, Lordship. Kindly see, one they made their own guidelines.
But even your proof of this submitting representation is not here, sir.
Lordship.
Proof of committee.
Lordship, proof of delivery. Lordship, I'll furnish Lordship, and Lordship says, if Lordship say, then I'll
Go to the NGT and counsel the petitioners.
Lordship, NGT, Lordship, while travel there, Lordship, kindly consider Lordship.
Lordship, the back of beyond, sir.
Lordship, collector is here, Lordship, shall collector take a decision, then it will suffice, Lordship.
The road is very good, sir.
No, Lordship, can the village
7 hours you reach, in 7 hours you reach Calcutta.
No, it is 20 minutes. Lordship, it is hardly 50 minutes to the collector office. Lordship, shall approach with the collector.
Goes very often.
Lordship, shall approach with the collector. He can take a decision. This is their own guideline, Lordship. And Lordship must have seen, Lordship, every day Lordship is watching.
No, it's better. You see, NGT has got I think many other similar matters.
Lordship, Lordship, this sand mafia is, Lordship, so powerful. Hardly people gather courage to approach a Lordship. Can they travel to Calcutta, Lordship?
Mr. Dalai, you lack courage.
Lordship, I may have the courage, but this petitioners, Lordship.
Tremendous courage, sir.
Lordship, only say, Lordship, I'll approach with the collector. Only say, collector, Lordship, to suffice.
Courage to go everywhere.
I will there, Lordship, kindly, Lordship, consider this aspect, Lordship. It can be within the small 2-line shuttle, Lordship, all my grievances will be suffice, Lordship.
No.
Lordship, I'll approach with the collector, at least, Lordship. Lordship, kindly remember, last occasion, Lordship, in case of Gajpati, your Lordship only sought for instruction. Within 3 days, all activities stopped, Lordship. So only Lordship says the after inspection, it will suffice.
Collector cannot do anything.
No, they stop.
This is the violation of government guideline. Collector cannot do anything.
They have
Lordship may direct them to go to NGT. Similar matters are seized
Lordship,
to NGT. And there are a lot of people, not that all are very financially incapable.
I will go NGT and government will.
Lordship, I'm finding it difficult to believe you don't have any matters in the NGT.
Lordship, in fact, Lordship, I don't have any matter.
Your practice will become even more.
Lordship, I want to confine my practice here, Lordship. I don't want to move there anywhere, Lordship. Lordship, I want to be here.
No, these are matters meant for that.
But Lordship,
they're already seized of similar matters.
But Lordship, say I'll file a reference to the collector, Lordship. That will suffice, Lordship.
That okay, counsel the petitioners leave to withdraw the present petition.
Lordship.
With liberty to file a fresh representation to the collector.
Lordship.
And after following up on such representation, to seek appropriate remedies in accordance with law.
Deeply obliged, Lordship.
My Lord may observe that no.
The court is not expressed in yes. All right.
It is always there.
Item number 16.
Still, my friend is defending the cumulative offenders. Lordship, kindly see statement. What sort of statement? We should not expect the statement from state.
Mr. Mohanty will never fall for this.
Lordship, this statement is very Lordship.
All right.
Item number 16, no instruction.
All right. Dismissed. No instructions.
Item number 17.
Challenge of assessment order.
Item number 18.
My Lord, 17, I am actually.
You want to withdraw that?
Somehow the name Chaudhary was not there. That way
I see. That's what we're wondering. And you want to withdraw and go and appeal?
My Lord, better. Just let it be taken. I'll go through the brief. If
okay, pass.
Item number 18.
After vacation, Mr. C.R. Mohanty is unwell.
All right. Defects be removed as the last option within a week. List that out.
Item 19.
Item 19, Millers. During pendency of the writ petition, Mr. statute got amended, Millers. In view of the same,
It has become infructuous now, my lord.
Infructuous, I am filing a memo, Millers, along with the
Memo is
amended.
taken on record. The petition is disposed of as infructuous. All right.
Item number 20.
Item 20, Lordship, kindly be taken up after vacation. I need to file some documents relevant.
Counsel for the petitioner seeks and is granted time to file documents before the next date. List on 23rd February.
Obliged, Lordship. Item 66, Lordship, it is infructuous.
All right. 66 disposed of. Okay.
Appearing for the opposite party.
Item 21.
21 million entry tax interest matter that is fixed to 2nd February.
All right. List on second.
Obliged.
All right.
Item 22.
May I please your lordship? Lordships, the petitioner has challenged the order of the first appellate authority under the GST Act.
You pay 10%.
Yeah, no, my lordship, he has already paid 30% of the tax amount.
All right. You see, since the GST tribunal is yet to be established, the present petition is entertained. Notice, he accepts notice. Reply within 4 weeks, 8 weeks, rejoined up for the next date. List on 2nd May. And then IA, you say, counsel to the petitioner informs the court that during the pendency of the first appeal, the petitioner has already paid 30% of the demanded tax. In that view of the matter, no further coercive steps shall be taken against the petitioner during the pendency of the present petition. The IA is disposed of. Dispense with is allowed.
Your lordship, in item number 25, similar order may be passed, but the petitioner has paid 50% of the tax amount.
50.
50, yes.
Okay, in 25, you say 50%. All right. Same order.
Highly appealed.
Item number 23.
23 May. Lordship, here the petitioner has challenged the attachment order issued by the proper office of the state tax officer. So under section 79, which is premature and is contravention of the section 78, because your lordship kindly have a glance, because this demand flows from the appeal order passed by this first appellate authority, which was passed on 31st October 2011, your lordship. It is as Annex 3, page 22, your lordship. First appeal order was passed on 31st October 2022, and section 78 provides clearly no recovery proceedings shall be initiated till the expiry of 90 days or 3 months, your lordship.
All right, we say notice, he accepts notice. Till the next date, no coercive steps shall be taken against the petitioner pursuant to the notice dated 1st December 2022.
Obliged.
List on 28th February.
Great. Your sick that bank may be strained.
You produce this order. All right.
Obliged.
The further orders issued to opposite party number 3 bank not to act on the attachment notice dated 1st December 2022. All right. Great.
Item number 24.
May I please, Your Lordship? Your Lordship, the petitioner's challenge in the present case is that the entire tax along with interest has been paid pursuant to the order of adjudication for the tax period 2018-19. Pursuant to that order, my bank account was attached. Your Lordship may kindly come to page 26, Annexure 3.
Yes.
Your Lordship will see the period is 1/4/2018 to 31/3/2019, and the demand order number is 10/3/2021. The amount is 443,498. Your Lordship may kindly turn to page 29, Annexure 5.
Yes.
Subject withdrawal of notice in form GST DRC 13 in favor of Jayashree Boda, having account number such and such. Your Lordship, I'm placing the last line of the paragraph. In the meanwhile, the taxpayer has paid the due tax for the above said period. In this circumstance, the notice in form GST DRC 13 by this office notice number 2671 dated 13/7/2021 is hereby withdrawn. Your Lordship may kindly turn to the next page, page 30, Annexure 6.
No, so this 4,43,000 you've already paid.
Yes, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, on 9/11/22, for the same period that Your Lordship has seen as at page 26, 2018-19, the demand order is same. Again, my account has been attached.
Instructions file.
Your Lordship, it is apparent from the record that
Yeah, it's a mistake.
It has come for the first time, my lord.
All right, notice, he accepts notice. Now it's already attached.
yes, Your Lordship.
So that will be allowing the final relief. So you come back on 9th January.
Well,
Yeah. In the meanwhile, if the petitioner approaches the additional CT and GST officer,
Yes, Your Lordship. Opposite part number 1.
bracket opposite party number 1, and if the claim is found to be correct, then the corresponding consequential orders lifting the attachment be passed before the next date without waiting for further orders from the court.
Obliged, Your Lordship.
9 January. Right.
Item number 26.
Matter has become infructuous.
And
Also 27, Lords. Subject to Your
27.
Lordship's kind consideration, there's a similar matter that is 26,999 of 2017 of the same petitioner of another area, Lords.
So
that has also
taken
become
on board, not on outside the list. 26,999.
No, it's not in the list. 26,999 of 2017.
Taken on board, this is infructuous. All right.
Much obliged, Lords. 26 and 27 also.
Right.
Item 28.
Item 28 is the same problem. Excise Commissioner's order revisable. Why, Mr. Rotla?
No, it's question of revision, Your Lordship. Here you will hear
This is a statutory appeal.
in statutory appeal.
Statutory
But I
appeal.
think I am for the petitioner.
Attacked from both sides.
Yes.
No, I am not attacking on merit. I only
I
simply
think,
say that this
they
order was passed.
They want to preempt all my points.
Yes.
Lord, let me place it. Now, Lord, here Your Lordship will see that the successful lottery holder, licensee, could not open the shop in terms of the sale notice and e-auction policy itself. Sale notice says that from the date of license, you will have to open the shop within 15 days. That is the specific condition, page 23, Your Lordship could kindly see. Page 23.
Yes.
Roman 14. Holder of the license shall open the shop if in the stipulated locality within 15 days of issue of license. Now, my lord, policy says that unless you open the shop, page 96, kindly see. Page 96.
Yes.
Their own excise policy.
Yes.
Roman 3, 4.2.14, Roman 3. No sub shall be allowed to be shifted before it starts functioning at its original location. Now, he has been issued with license on 12th of April 2021. Now, he waited till 11th of March 2022 at the cost of state's revenue. Kindly appreciate, my lord. State government is not responsible for the area, location of the shop. They will have to find out their own location. Now, my lord, he failed to open the shop, and I applied this honorable court that he has failed to open the shop. Let there be a delottery. Your Lordship relegated me back to the collector. Now, kindly see the collector's order. Collector has recommended the matter for cancellation. Kindly see, my lord. Page 118. The order starts from page 117. Petitioner is Dhaneshwar Mahapatra. The collector takes note of these facts. Now, Your Lordship may see the operative part of the order that is at page 118. Last paragraph. In view of the aforementioned facts and submissions made by both the parties and available documents and record, it is transferred that license for Dhusuri Opshop was granted to the OP number 5 by the Superintendent Excise on 12th of April 2021 as per the provisions contained in the sale notice. Accordingly, the licensee had to open the shop in the sanctioned locality within a period of 15 days as per the provisions contained in so-and-so dated 26 February 2021 Government Excise Department. But he had opened the shop and made it operational on 11th of March 2022. After in this regard, OP number 5 has stated that due to frequent public protest and agitation, he could not be able to open the shop in the sanctioned locality within the stipulated timeline. But the provision contained clause so-and-so in Form A sale notice envisages that it will be responsible to the privilege holder to arrange a suitable place and carry on the privilege granted to him, and the place to arrange shall be objection-free from the public. Thus, the plea taken by OP number 5 regarding delay in opening the shop is not acceptable, as such OP number 5 has violated so-and-so clause of sale notice. Hence, the license issued in favor of OP number 5 is liable to be cancelled. Accordingly, Superintendent Excise Bhadrak is directed to move the Excise Commissioner for cancellation of the license. Lord, here are only two things. Now, this is a recommendation. Government, Lord, if Lordship see, the exercise of regional jurisdiction says that a revision is not maintainable against a recommendation. Kindly see the government's recent order on this. They say that this being a recommendation is not an order.
No, but on this recommendation, no order has been passed.
No, it is an order. One second. But against this order, he prefers an appeal without implementing me as a party to the commissioner. Now, commissioner doesn't give me a notice, passes an order, setting aside the order without hearing me.
Oh, yes.
That's the point.
Right. Yes, Mr. Monty. What is this? Obvious. It is at his instance the license is asked to be cancelled.
Yes. The
Appeal against that, it's like not implementing the complainant.
That is, if he has not implemented the complainant.
And the orders also passed with the commissioner.
Yes. Without hearing the petition.
Without hearing, without giving me a notice, without implementing me as a party.
Then your lordship can remand the matter to commissioner for re-hearing. After implementing the petitioner as giving notice to the petitioner.
That's right.
All right.
You see, it is seen that the challenge the challenge the present petition is to an order dated 25th July 2022 passed by the Excise Commissioner, Odisha, allowing the appeal filed by opposite party number 5 against an order passed or dated 16th June 2022 passed by the Collector Bhadrak in this case number 13 of 2022.
Lord, may I bring your lordship's notice, page 19. After hearing both the parties.
That is my ground. You have not implemented me as a party. Let him make a statement that he has implemented me as a party.
So both the parties must be the state and him.
Superintendent and they.
Okay. It's all.
Paragraph. It is seen from the order dated 16 June 2022 that the plea of the present petitioner against opposite party number 5 regarding the IMFL off shop not having been opened for more than a year, for almost 11 months after the license had been issued, was found to be correct. And accordingly, the Collector Bhadrak, by the said order, recommended cancellation of the license issued in favor of opposite party number 5. Paragraph. Agreed with the above order, opposite party number 5 filed an appeal before the Excise Commissioner. Full stop. From the impugned order dated 25th July 2022, it is seen that the opposite party number 5 implemented the state authority, but not the present petitioner. Full stop. The impugned order notices that it is on the representation of the present petitioner that the Collector Bhadrak had passed the order dated 16 June 2022. Stop. Yet, for some reason, the present petitioner was not heard before the impugned order was passed. Paragraph. The above facts are unable to be disputed either by counsel appearing for opposite party number 5 or the state. Stop. It is plain that since the order dated 16 June 2022, the collector was passed at the instance of the present petitioner, any challenge to that order in an appeal could have been only by impleading the present petitioner as a party to such appeal. Paragraph. On the above short ground, the impugned order dated 25th July 2022 passed by the Excise Commissioner is set aside, and Excise Appeal Case number 27 of 2022 is now restored to the file of the Excise Commissioner to be heard afresh by impleading the present petitioner as a party, as an opposite party in the said appeal. Opposite party oblique respondent in the said appeal. The said appeal will now be listed before the Excise Commissioner for hearing on 9 January or 16 January.
My lord may say for further orders because they will notice.
On 16 January for further orders.
Yes.
The Excise Commissioner will proceed in the appeal after ensuring that the present petitioner is implemented as a party and is heard.
It shall be open for the parties to rail all the points, including maintenance.
It will be open to all the parties to urge all the contentions.
Right. Including maintenance of the appeal.
Or all contentions
That all
available to them in accordance with law.
Okay, that covers me.
Before the Excise Commission. The petition is disposed of.
Great. Good.
Item number 29.
29. Similar.
Here is a case But the coordinate bench has already passed orders involving same order. I'll just give your lordship those orders with a copy to my learned friend, Mr. Mahanti. The same government's order is a challenge here. Matter has been already taken out. And pursuant to your lordship's earlier orders, we have already deposited 50%. That's lying with the government. We are ultimately.
When is it coming up?
Milord, these are matters, Milord. I don't think in date is fixed, no?
Date is fixed.
Date is fixed, Milord. 21st of February 23.
Correct. Notice returnable 21st February. Mr. Mohanty accepts notice. Till the next date, no coercive action shall be taken. List along with writ petition civil 8072. Correct.
I may be pardoned, Your Lordship.
Item number 59 and 60, the same order. There are defect, Milord. I'll subject to removing defect, same orders be passed.
Correct. 59, 60, same order. Say defects be removed in the meanwhile.
In item 24, Your Lordship, urgent certified copy may be provided.
Correct. 24 urgent certified copy. Correct.
Okay.
Item number 30.
Yeah, please, Your Lordship. On behalf of Yasmanti, no instruction.
No instructions dismissed.
Item number 31.
None appears dismissed.
Item number 32.
Appearing for option number 5.
All right. None appears to the petitioner dismissed.
My lord, item number 32, my lord.
Umari for sir.
My lord, the case was filed by in person, and the petitioner is a 68 years old woman now in suffering from fever, and he want to appear me in this case, my lord.
With fever. You want to appear or she wants to appear?
I am for the petitioner.
Tell us what the matter is about.
My lord, I got the brief yesterday night only.
Nothing,
So I
sir.
have
This
to
is a CMAPL. Nothing. No problem. We'll read it with you now.
7 years delay. For registration.
How many?
7 years delay. Dismissed in 2010.
2463 days delay, sir.
Yes. My lord, it was dismissed for default for non-prosecution. As she said, for her conducting lawyer not attending the court, my lord, the order has been passed. My lord.
You say there's a delay.
That is not for the mistake of the conducting lawyer. The petitioner should not suffer, my lord. At least give me some time. I will prepare for it, my lord.
No, sorry, sir. Miss case number 13 of 2017. There's an inordinate delay of 2,463 days in the application for restoration recall being filed. Full stop. The delay is not explained properly. Full stop. Consequently, the court is not inclined to condone it. Accordingly, Miss case number 13 of 2017 is dismissed. Then CMAPL. Accordingly, CMAPL is dismissed. Okay.
Item number 33.
None of it is dismissed.
Milord, the petitioner was working as an excise constable, and the post of the excise constable is a district cadre post. So the controlling authority is the superintending excise, and not the commissioner excise. So while he was about to get the promotion order, while he was working in the district of Dhenkanal as an excise constable, by order under Annex 2, that is page 16, the excise commissioner has transferred and posted the petitioner in the district of Kandhamal. So challenging that, he filed one original application before the then administrative tribunal, and the administrative tribunal, considering the grievances, directed the authorities to consider the grievance and dispose of the same within a period of 10 days and no coercive steps to be taken. And the excise commissioner, being adamant, he, instead of considering the grievances, rejected the representation and with his own logic and reason. And finding no other alternative, he again, challenging the rejection order, filed a second original application before the administrative tribunal for relief, that challenging the transfer order that is to be quashed. And initially the stay was granted, And by subsequent order, that is by subsequent order, 24 December 2010, the tribunal declined to interfere with the transfer order and dismissed the same. And with your lordship's permission, I mentioned that this is district cadre. A constable cannot be transferred from one district to another. And challenging the dismissal order passed by the Law Tribunal, the petitioner approached the Honorable Court by filing a writ petition. That is WBC number 32,398 of 2011, and that is at Annexure 4, the order passed in that writ petition. And in that writ petition, Milord, the transfer order was passed. And I may be, if your lordship permits me, the circumstances has been narrated in the very short order, and I may allow to read. Heard Mr. Mishra, Law Counsel for the petitioner, and Mr. R.P. Mahapatra, Law Additional Government Advocate for the state. The petitioner in this writ petition has prayed inter alia to quash the order dated 24 December 2010, passed by the Law Odisha Administrative Tribunal Kotak Bench, Kotak, in OA number 2981C of 2007, by which the order of transfer dated 28th April 2007 and the order dated 27/9/2007, passed by the Excise Commissioner Odisha Kotak, rejecting his prayer to continue in the district of Dhenkanal, was not interfered with. Challenging the legality and propriety of the order of transfer dated 20th April 2007, passed by the Excise Commissioner Odisha, transferring the petitioner from Dhenkanal to Kondhamal, the petitioner filed the OA before the Law Tribunal. By order dated 24th December 2010, the Law Tribunal dismissed the original application by the Annexure 5. In course of hearing, Mr. Mishra, with his usual vehemence, submits that impugned order of transfer is nullified. Mr. Mishra further submits that on the basis of the recommendations made by the Sub-Collector Dhenkanal pertaining to the private dispute, the collector, it is important, pertaining to a private dispute, the Collector Dhenkanal recommended the Excise Commissioner OP number 2 to transfer the petitioner and initiate departmental proceeding wherein the order of transfer was passed. Pursuant to our earlier order, the Law Additional Government Advocate produced the file. We are shocked the manner in which the transfer order of the petitioner was passed. Transferring him from one district to another district. From the record, it is evident that the Sub-Collector Dhenkanal wrote a letter to the Collector Dhenkanal stating therein that the petitioner was working as an excise constable in Dhenkanal district since 14th April 1987, and he was staying in a rented house without paying rent to the owner of the house. He was called to his office to settle the dispute, but he did not turn up. He further stated that the petitioner was involved in nefarious activities and lending money to different people, charging higher rate of interest and misbehaving people. Thereafter, the Collector Dhenkanal and the report of the Sub-Collector on dated 18 April 2006 to the Excise Commissioner Odisha Kotak, requesting him to take further steps to inter-district transfer of the petitioner and to initiate departmental proceeding. Non-payment of rent is purely a private dispute. The same cannot be a ground of transfer. If a tenant doesn't pay the house rent, it is open to the landlord to take appropriate steps in accordance to the law, but the authority has no jurisdiction and cannot pressurize the tenant to pay rent. Furthermore, there is no material on record that the petitioner is involved in any nefarious activities and lending money to different people. On the basis of bald allegations, the Sub-Collector Dhenkanal recommended the Collector Dhenkanal to take appropriate disciplinary action against the petitioner and transfer him out of the district. We are of the view that the Sub-Collector and the Collector Dhenkanal have transgressed their limits in recommending the initiation of disciplinary action against the petitioner and also inter-district transfer of the petitioner. As because the petitioner did not turn up to the office of the Sub-Collector to settle the private dispute, the latter being arrogated requested the Collector Dhenkanal by his letter dated 30 June 2006 for taking action against the petitioner. We are further of the view that the order of transfer is not on the administrative exigency, but the same is on nullified exercise of power. The order of transfer is an outcome of certain private disputes. In view of the same, we quash the order dated 24th December 2010, passed by the Law Tribunal by the Annexure 5, as well as the order of transfer dated 20th April 2007 by the Annexure 2, and the order of rejection dated 27 September 2007 by the Annexure 1. Now, the question that survives for consideration is whether the petitioner is entitled to pay any pay from the date of his transport till the date of his not joining the new place of posting. Since the order of transport was passed on 20th April 2007 and thereafter the petitioner was not on duty, we are not inclined to grant any arrear pay on the principles of no work, no pay. The period during which the petitioner was not on duty shall be treated as leave as due and admissible as per the Odisha leave rules. My lord, if it is treated as leave, how much leave he was supposed to avail, and whether he availed all the leaves, when this honorable court has ordered that the period should be treated as leave, then how those salaries should be stopped? And also I do not know that whether the petitioner has retired in the meantime. And I had the instruction because I was appearing the petition in the promotion matter. Subsequently, I have attached the next document, that is Annex 5, that he was staying at that district and he was on the boards of promotion. So once the order of transport was quashed, and it has been written that the period during which the petitioner was not on duty shall be treated as leave. Therefore, so if it is leave was not properly availed and it was beyond the authorities to sanction leave, then that is different thing. If it was allowed by the court, then there should not be any penal provision. He should not suffer, because a person is service means his family is in service. Now, after suffering some mental harassments and torture, if the petitioner will further suffer some financial loss, then my lord, it will be sufficiently. And he spent so many times in court cases, my lord. So let the government say that whether how much leave he has availed and why it should not be treated as the leave period should not be allowed as per the rules.
Finished, sir? You're finished. No, I'm just asking. You have finished your argument. Huh?
I am finished.
No grounds made out for review. Review petitions dismissed. All right.
Item 34.
34, your lord, is regarding differential salary. On 9th, your lordship passed similar also. I'm passing on. Last.
All right.
Item 35.
35, Lord.
Deal record.
35 permit to remove the defect.
No. Deficit also not paid for 3 years. For almost 3 years now, even a deficit court fee of 194 has not been paid. Limitation steps have not been taken. Neat copy of pages, nearly 100 pages not filed.
Annexure 1 also not there.
Yeah.
On behalf of Mr. S. Basmati.
All right. No further intelligence is being shown, can be shown to the appellant. The appeal is dismissed. Same on 36. 36 also same.
It's under the monetary limit.
Okay. Further it's stated that is under the monetary limit, disposed of. All right.
Item 37.
So, but 37 and 39 is concerned. This is similar to OTAPL number 16 of 2019, my lord. That your lordship day before yesterday has issued notice. It is the rule 8(3)(a) which has been challenged, and the jurisdictional, basing on the jurisdictional.
No defects not cured, sir.
In the meantime, I will cure defects.
All right. List on
1st of May.
1st May, defects be cured in the meanwhile.
37 and 39.
37 and 39.
Item number 38.
38, my lord, I will remove the defects within a week. My lord.
What's the defect? Last opportunity to remove defects within a week. Less thereafter.
Obliged. Item number 40.
My lord, item number 40, kindly taken after vacation.
Sorry?
Kindly taken after vacation, my lord.
Why?
On behalf of Baskonda.
Why?
File is not available.
Stated that the file is not available, dismiss for non-prosecution with liberty to the petitioner to revive it in case the file is traced. Whatever I used.
Item number 41.
I am for the opposition.
None appears for the petitioner. Appellant dismissed.
Item 42.
42, I have already served a copy now. Maybe taken up after vacation. This is a tax appeal. This 9 is substantial question of law.
What's that? What's the question of law? Let's see.
Whether the facts and circumstances of the cases learned ITAT is justified in confirming the ad hoc disallowances of the expenditure under the head transportation expense without pointing out the defects. The audit book produced in course of the assessment proceeding on 143.3. And second is that
What's the tax effect here?
Tax, it's addition of in both the heads, addition is around 1 crore.
4,56,000. No,
Around
11 crores.
44 lakhs in first and director remuneration rejection is around 40 lakhs.
Just say notice in both. Two matters, is it?
Tax
One-
appeal 35.
42, no? This
Yes, yes, 42.
42.
You just say notice. But IA is allowed. Defect be cured in the meanwhile. Notice, he accepts notice. List on 2nd May.
Extra copy, maybe, sir.
All right.
Item 43.
Will have in virtual mode.
Yes.
You are allowed to rectify the defect by next week, Mila.
It's copy not solved.
Last opportunity to remove defects within a week. List thereafter.
Item 44.
44 is more than, demand is more than 11 crores. Then question is paid number 10, my lord. Whether on the facts and circumstances of the case, the learned tribunal is right in holding that the canvass credit is be availed in advance on a debt when credit is yet to be
All right.
become due.
Notice returnable 3rd May.
Item 45.
Same, my lord.
All right.
Item 46.
46 is similar to OTPL 6 and 7 of 2018. Lordship had processed matters to 10th of April, my lord. In the
List
meantime,
on 10th April, defects we removed in the meanwhile.
Obliged.
Item 47.
My lord, same to 54.
Same as
I'm
40.
filing my memo appearance.
All right.
Item 48.
Maybe. Here, my lord, this in this
Delay, how much is it?
I mean, it is within COVID period. I have explained, my lord, in IA number.
All right, just in IA number 37 of 2020, you said notice returnable 4th May.
It is, my lord, with the covered by the judgment of the order of the Honorable Supreme Court, my lord.
All right. Notice returnable 4th May.
Aye, lord.
Item 49.
Patna is the PL and encroachment matter. The application by the annexed to page 10 is pending before the open number 3. The open number 4 is encroached the government land and not allowing the petitioner other to use the same. Annexed to page 10 is pending.
Proof of submission, sir.
That is the page 10 in top. It is he has received the Tahsildar on 25/11/2021.
Where is the encroacher is what? Opposite party number 4. All right. The petitioner's representation bracket annexure 2 be considered with the Tahsildar Baliapal. And after notice to the petitioner and to opposite party number 4. And after giving them a hearing, a reasoned order shall be passed thereon not later than 3rd April and be communicated to the parties within a week thereafter. The court clarifies it is not supposed to be.
Item 50.
Too many defects, sir.
Have a glance to page 20.
Too many defects.
I course of the day, I remove a small prayer
Defects be
before the
removed
last.
within a week list thereafter.
My lord,
Remove the defects within a week, sir. We listed out after that.
Lordship, I will course in course of the day I can remove the defects.
It's all right, sir.
A small matter, my lord.
I know.
My lord, kindly have a glance to page 20.
After you remove defects, no problem.
I will remove the defect in course of the day, my lord.
It's all
Small,
right, sir.
small remarks before the lordship.
It's all right. 1 week later, we'll take it up. No problem.
Obliged.
Item 51.
Removal of defect, my lord, 1 week time, I may given.
All right. Defects we remove within a week list thereafter.
Item 52.
Just come up with the first time, Lordship. I'll remove the defects and
All
it may
right.
be listed.
Defects we remove within a week list thereafter.
Obliged.
Item 53.
I may be permitted to remove the defect.
All right. Defects we remove within a week list thereafter.
Item 54.
It is a public interest litigation. Same thing, defects, sir. Remove the defects, same order.
Item 55.
55, Lordship may permit me to remove the defects.
All right. Last opportunity to remove the defects within a week, list thereafter.
Much obliged, please.
Item 56.
Again, defects not removed.
May I please, Your Lordship, the only defect is serving a copy. Defect number 6, I've served a copy.
Okay.
Morning.
All right.
The limited question involved, Your Lordship, is the petitioner was adjudicated for the period, Your Lordship, 1718. Pursuant to the adjudication, the petitioner filed the first appeal, and in first appeal, the demand tax and interest has already been paid, the entire tax and interest. So the learned adjudicating authority confirmed the penalty, and subsequently, Your Lordship, I have approached Your Lordship since the tribunal is not there.
All right.
And the
Since the
levy-
GST tribunal has not been constituted, the present petition is entertained. Notice, he accepts notice. In the IA, you say counsel, the petitioner points out that the entire tax demanded has been already paid, but penalty has not been paid.
No, Your Lordship.
No further steps to recover penalty shall be taken against the petitioner during the pendency of the petition. The IA is disposed of.
Obliged, Lordship.
List on 4th May. 4th May.
Obliged.
Yeah.
Item number 57.
What's the item number 57? No instructions.
No instructions dismissed.
Item 58.
It is not dismissed.
Not dismissed.
5960 all taken.
5960.
Item number 61.
May I please? Lord, here, Lord, I have challenged the annexure 1. Notice under section 79(1) of the OBAT Act. Before Lordship, I go to your Lordship, kindly have a glance this section itself. It is without jurisdiction. If your Lordship see the section, may I permit you to place this section?
Yes.
Your Lord see the section 79. The revisional power of the commissioner, Lord.
Yes.
Lord, I am skipping Lord 1 to 3. Lord, from 4 I am placing, Lord. The commissioner shall not revise under section 1 of any order if the period of filing appeal against the order as provided under section 77
So
or
more than
70.
5 years.
No, that is not next part. The order has been made a subject matter appeal under section 77 and 78.
Oh.
Here is a case, Lord. The appellate authority considered all these issues which has been reflected in the notice. All and that has been considered by the appellate authority. Then you will also see the subsection 5. Notwithstanding any contained in subsection 4, the commission may pass an order under subsection 1 or any point which has not been raised or decided in the appeal, reference clause B for expired period so and so. Here is the case, Lordship, see the annexure 1 first. Annexure 1 running page 9. It is clearly not to issue the refund voucher that has been issued. Lordship, see the running page 9, annexure 1. Earthwork, payment made to subcontractor, waste to labor, hire charge machinery, consumer including diesel. This is the issue, Millard, which has been considered that it's a Millard interest of revenue. He has issued this notice. Let's just see the appeal order. It starts from page 18, annexure 3. Running page 23 also. Figure is challenged now. Waste paid to labor, payment made to subcontractor, hire charge machinery, consumer including diesel. Therefore, Millard, my submission will be not. It is totally without jurisdiction. This notice has been issued by the commissioner. Not to Millard give me the refund arising out of the appellate authority order. Therefore, Millard, this honorable court has issued notice and giving protection till today, Millard. And counter has been filed, but not been used for anything. So far as this notice issued, Millard, the subsection 4 has not been replied whether it is permissible to issue notice as per the act and rule. Only if we are relying on that, so-called notice is not maintainable before this honorable court. That is the only issue has been raised in the counter. You will not see the counter. So many judgment will refer. Only quoted the judgment. All these pages only judgment. not to be whisper whether 1794 subclause C is permissible under the Act to issue a notice where there is issue has already decided and considered by the first appellate authority in the appeal, which is mandate of the law is there not.
Can agitate all these before the revisional authority.
Why should he go back there, sir? It's been pending here for 6 years now.
Page 10 of my counter affidavit.
No, 6 years it's pending here, sir. What do you have to say on merits? After 6 years, what's the point in sending him? There's no, you have no stateable point in defense. The neat question of law.
Facts are also there, my lord. Page 10 of my counter affidavit. The fact is there, my lord.
What fact?
Page 10 of my counter affidavit. Para 7. That after passing of the order of appeal, the assessment order merged with the appeal order, the additional commissioner having scrutinized the appeal order, noticed that credit of such has been erroneously allowed without ensuring the corresponding deposit by the deducting authority.
That's the whole point, sir. All this was subject matter of the appeal. Correct.
He has opportunity to file secondary if you agree.
Correct. You're not supposed to use the revisional power when there is an appeal remedy available. See the short ground on which the impugned order dated, impugned notice dated 11 January 2016 by the Commissioner of Commercial Taxes Odisha to the present petitioner has been challenged is that it is in violation of section 79 bracket 4 bracket small b read with section 79 bracket 5 of the Odisha Value Added Tax Act 2004 bracket OVAT Act. The facts in brief are that the petitioner is a registered dealer under the OVAT Act and it engaged in works contract business. An audit result report was submitted under section 42 of the OVAT Act for the audit for the period 20th December 2007 to 31st March 2010. Thereafter, an assessment order was passed on 3rd February 2011, allowing the petitioner a refund of almost rupees 1.07 crores. Paragraph. And first appeal was filed by the petitioner under section 77 of the OVAT Act. It was disposed of by the Joint Commissioner of Sales Tax, package JCST, Baleshwar. On 30th May 2012, allowing TDS and other deductions and reducing the refund to rupees 1.03 crores. Full stop. According to the petitioner, no further challenge was raised by the petitioner in the said order. Paragraph. Nearly 4 years later, the impugned notice dated 11 January 2016 has been issued by the commissioner to exercise suo motu revision under section 79 bracket 1 of the OVAT Act for the same period. On the ground that the deduction allowed by the JCST was erroneous and prejudicial to the interest of the revenue. Paragraph. Section 79 bracket 4 bracket B of the OVAT Act and section 79 bracket 5 of the OVAT Act read as under. Paragraph. The specific government of the petitioner is that the very purpose for which the notice under section 79 bracket 1 of the OVAT Act has been issued by the commissioner was already the subject matter of appeal for the JCST. Stop. The state itself could have gone in appeal against the said order. Under section 79, under section 78 of the Overt Act. Stop. Therefore, in terms of section 79 bracket 4 bracket small b, read with section 79 bracket 5 of the Overt Act, there's a clear statutory bar to the Commission exercising the suo motu referral power. Paragraph. In response to the notice issued in the present petition, a counter affidavit has been filed, where inter alia it is stated that the petition has an alternative remedy. No, the petitioner ought not to have approached this court at the stage of notice. And it is only after an order is passed pursuant to the imbue notice issued that the petitioner has the remedy of a challenge to such notice. Paragraph. It must be noted at the outset that while issuing notice in the present petition on 18th May 2016, there was a stay of further proceedings pursuant to the imbue notice. That stay has continued till since then. Paragraph, the present petition having been pending in the court for more than 6 years, the court sees little purpose being served in relegating the petitioner at this stage to the commissioner for an order on the imbue show cause notice, particularly since it appears to have been issued clearly in violation of section 79 bracket 4 bracket small b, read with section 79 bracket 5 of the Overt Act. Paragraph, the counter affidavit has no answer to the main ground of challenge, namely that despite the remedy of an appeal being available to the commissioner in terms of section 78 of the Overt Act, coupled with the fact that there's a statutory bar to exercising the suo motu referral power, since the issue was already the subject matter of an appeal. Full stop. Consequently, this ground on which the petitioner has challenged the imbue notice has remained uncontroverted. Paragraph. The legal position being clear, this court has no hesitation
Limitation
in quashing the imbue notice dated 11 January 2016 and all proceedings consequent that.
Let's say may request not the order of the appellate may be complied with, because
limit
now don't have to say that. So
because refund is not due, they have not issued a refund because of
it's
this.
obvious that now the first appellate order passed with the first appellate authority, that is JCST, will be given effect to fourth bill.
In accordance with law,
in accordance with law.
Lordship may pardon me. Lordship may consider this marking as an A for minutes.
Okay, all right.
79.5, there's been no deliberation minutes.
Oh, I see.
Or I'm sorry, minutes.
All right, all right.
May kindly consider that.
Oh, yes, yes.
Much obliged.
All right. After lunch.
Right.
Item 62.
Lordship, this is relating to 42A. My learned senior argued to 2-3 days back that has been adjourned to 27th March in WPC number 4584 of 2017.
Yeah, list along with that on 22nd March. All right.
Okay. Item 63.
Sir, this is matter of case, my lords. Before I take my lords to writ petition, my lord, there is your lordship kindly say there is a IA number 6811/2020 for substitution. Because in the case of this petitioner, my lords, on the other day, your lordship have allowed all substitution application, and also my lords condoned the delay, my lords. I am giving the lordship some orders. And there is also a noting that no service could be possible, AD not back from opposite part of 5. Opposite of 5 minutes is a necessary party. Your Lordship have issued notice. Originally, I have taken. Again, fresh notice I have also taken. Now, today morning, I was talking to Mr. Arup Panda. He is appearing for opposite 5, IoT Utkal. He said that he can be sought a copy. If your Lordship direct me, I will give you a copy.
All right.
And all these matters, my lords, are connected to the writ petitions which I have given to Lordship's copy of all numbers, my lords. Your Lordship have directed all these matters to come on 12/4/2023.
All right. Same orders. The IA same orders. And then you say, Mr. Sahu, senior counsel for the petition, informs the court that Mr. Arup Panda, advocate, is appearing for opposite party number 5. And that he will be serving copies of the petition on him during the course of the day. List on 12th April 2023, along with give the list.
Interim order to continue.
Interim order to continue.
Much obliged.
Item 64.
May I please, Your Lordship. Item 64 pass over.
All right.
Item 65.
May I please.
My lord, 62 interim order to continue.
Yeah, 62 interim.
Obliged.
In item number 65, my lords, I have challenged the summary rejection of my appeal due to non-payment of the pre-deposit, my lords. So I now realize the futility of challenging the pre-deposit because now I'd only pray your lordship to permit me some time, lords. I'll deposit that amount and let that appeal be heard on merits.
All right.
That's Annexure 7.
The pre-deposit amount. But we'll have to file an application for delay, is it?
My lords, I have to. In fact, there's no delay. The appeal was filed on time. It was dismissed because of
Yeah, but there'll be a delay in deposit of that.
Looks
It's to be condoned.
The appeal.
You say
Annexure 7 at page 28 minutes.
All right. The challenge to the present writ petition is to an order dated 13th November 2019. In October 2013 November. 13th October November, is it?
No.
October.
It's 13/11/2019.
13th November. Yeah, 2019. Passed by the Joint Commission of Sales Tax, Puri Range, on the ground of failure with the petitioner to make the pre-deposit in the said appeal. Mr. Karel Leonard, counsel for the petitioner states that the petitioner will now make the pre-deposit before the learned JCST of the amount is already fixed, right?
No, sir, that's amount has not been fixed, my lords. They just say it's 20%. The lordship is just say pre-deposit as per law, my lords, deposit.
No.
On the tax. It's tax assessed is 28 lakhs 10,503 minutes.
Entry tax, it is
20%.
20% of the tax.
Will make the mandatory deposit to the mandatory 20% of the disputed taxes not later than 1st February. 1st February.
More time, lords. Now the unit is closed.
All right. 7th March 2022, subject to such deposit being made within the time aforesaid. The impugned order will stand set aside and the appeal will stand restored to the file of the learned JCST for being proceeded with in accordance with law. The matter will be listed before the JCST on 7th September for directions.
7th March.
7th March, sorry, 7th March for directions, correct.
Sorry for the interruption.
Post off in the above terms.
Sorry for the interruption. Same order in the connected, there are 2 writ petitions.
That's right, same order. Correct.
2 petitions are there.
Correct.
Obliged, minutes.
Item 67.
My lords, I appear for the petitioner through VC.
Yes.
My lords, we seek a short indulgence for filing our rejoinder. My lords may grant us 2 weeks time for that.
All right. Rejoinder will be filed before the next day. List on interim order to continue. List on 2nd May.
Thank you, my lords.
68. Item 68.
None appears dismissed.
I am appearing for the.
Item number 69. 69 with regard to short supply of overseas liquor lordship order. 69 Lord and 72 first item.
All right.
69 and 72.
72 first item 5315 of 2017. Same, both are same.
Same.
Short supply.
All right.
I may be pardoned, Your Lordship. In item number 69, Your Lordship, I am appearing for the OP number 5 OSBC. My appearance may be noted.
All right.
70.
Just instead of the whole page, just the last 2 paragraphs. I think para 8 is now.
Yes, Lord. That too also will be suffice also.
All right. 69 and 72.
Item number 70.
70, my lord. In view of the interim order dated 27th April 2016, my lord, for cause of action does not survive.
All right. Counsel petition informs the court that the cause of action does not survive any longer.
I crave one liberty if cause of action arises.
The petition is disposed of liberty to the petitioner. File a fresh petition if any cause of action arises.
71, same, my lord.
Same order in 71.
Item 72, rest matters on first matter is from WPC 5375-2017.
None appears dismissed.
WPC 5377-2017.
None appears dismissed.
Item number 73.
My lord, item number 73 and 84, liberty may be granted to file.
All right. Counsel petitioner seeks leave to withdraw these petitions with liberty to file statutory appeals against the influent order. In accordance with law, such appeals filed not later than 1st February 2023, accompanied by an application for condemnation of delay. Then considered in accordance with law by the appellate authority. The court clarifies it is not expressed in any matter. If it is accompanied by an application for condemnation of delay, stay, then till such time an interim order is passed thereon. The interim order passed with this court, in the present petition will continue. The originals will be returned subject to being substituted at district court of office.
Item number 74.
My lord, 74. 74, my lord, kindly pass the similar order, my lord. Mirror order. I have deposited the demand.
Right. Item number 75.
75 also, my lord, mirror order be passed. I will file appeal. Till then, the interim order will continue.
Same order.
Item 76.
May I please, Your Lordship?
Yes.
Here, the grievance was with regard to the period when, in pursuance of the direction of the Honorable Appeals Court, there was a shifting of the shop, my lord, of the petitioner, because it has to go beyond the 500 meters. Now, Your Lordship will find from the record that, in fact, the delay of 4 or 5 months which occurred with regard to setting up the unit at the place in conformity with the direction of the Honorable Appeals Court is attributable to the opposite parties, because they had initially wrongly measured and subsequently they found that the location that was provided by me is correct and beyond the 500 meters. Be that as it may, my lord, since it is of the year 2018, I took instruction. My client says, my lord, the prayer was to convert it to IMFL, my lord. Your lordship will see the prayer at page 10. And instead of this short-drawn beer, may be converted to IMFL. And he says he has already done that in the meanwhile. My only prayer, subject to your lordship's kind concession, would be I'll approach the authority just to explain this aspect. And also, if at all, my lord, I will pray for a waiver of that 3-4 months period. Let them consider, my lord, and thereafter I will come back if I am aggrieved. This much I am praying.
Counsel, the petitioner seeks leave in lieu of the subsequent developments. Counsel, the petitioner seeks leave to withdraw the present petition with liberty to approach the excise authorities with an appropriate application seeking
That I have
refund of
already
fee.
complied with, my lord. Otherwise,
79.
You're seeking waiver of MGQ, right?
waiver of NGQ, if the authorities are not satisfied that I have complied with, because my client says that he has converted IFML, he has
For
already
waiver
complied.
of MGQ. If such application is filed not later than 6th March 2023, it shall be
76.
examined and disposed of in accordance with law within a period of 4 weeks thereafter. If the petitioner is aggrieved by such decision, it will be open to the petitioner to seek appropriate remedies in accordance with it.
May I pray till the decision is taken, no coercive action, because there was also an interim order that it should be converted.
Or till such time a decision is taken on the petitioner's application. Provided it's filed within the time stipulated. No coercive action will be taken.
I am deeply grateful, your lordship.
Item number 77.
77, all 5 items are audit objection matters. Annexure 3 is the demand notice in all cases.
All right.
And my lord, 78 item, there is demand. I will approach the commissioner also. I have given the order.
All right.
Entry order is there. Entry order too. Lords will continue.
78.
Yes, but I have given.
77, same order.
I have written also in item number also I have written in top.
78, same.
Yes.
All right.
And 79, all the items not pressed.
79.
Not pressed. All 3
Not
matters.
pressed.
Not pressed.
All right.
Item number 80.
80, my lord, mirror order be passed, my lord. In view of the interim order, final relief has been granted, my lord.
All right. All right.
My lord, I have corrected the demand interim order dated.
Item 81.
81 and 82 have become infractions.
Infractions dismissed.
81 and 82. 82.
Item 83.
My lord, item 83 infractions.
All right. Memo taken on record. Dismisses infractions. 84 is over, is it?
84 gone. Item number 73.
All right.
Passed or matter item number 17.
17. May I please, Your Lordship? On the cause list, there is a noting that a preliminary counter affidavit has been filed.
No, but anyway, the challenge here is only to some.
Yes, my lord. My lord, if your lordship.
Assessment order.
Yes, my lord. What has happened during the demonetization period? There was an agreement of sale of land. Somebody has given me in advance. I have deposited in the bank. That's why the assessment has been initiated. During the assessment, I requested the assessing officer to issue a notice to the purchaser. In fact, he has issued. If your lordship will come to the page 25. Annexure 2. 5th line.
Yes.
The summon issued under section 131 of the IT Act for cross-examination to purchaser, Sri Umesh Mahapatra, who was given advance in cash, but he did not appear and not responded yet. Then your lordship kindly turned to my affidavit. Affidavit of the same person, Umesh Mahapatra. Find place at page 48. He has never received such notice from the income tax department.
No, but the question really is assessment order. You've come directly here, sir.
My lord, what will happen, my lord? If an opportunity will be given to this Umesh Mahapatra, he will only the next affidavit also he has clarified that he has given that amount to the petitioner.
It was unserved. I filed a very unserved. Your lordship see my counter affidavit. He was returned back unserved as postal authority dated on 26/12/2019. And the agreement which has been stated here is not registered. It is notarized agreement. And you just know how to. So
let you tell the appellate authority, it can be done even in appeal. Fresh evidence can be led even in appeal. Yes. Counsel the petition seek leave to withdraw the present petition, liberty to file an appeal against the impugned assessment order in accordance with law. If appeal is filed not later than 1st February 2023, accompanied by an application for coordination of delay, explaining the delay on account of the pendency of the present petition, will be considered in accordance with law by the appellate authority. Court clarifies it is not expressed anywhere in the matter. The originals be returned subject to being substituted with attested photocopies.
Original order may be returned.
Yes, yes.
Pastor matter item number 64.
Urgent copy.
Urgent copy. All right.
64. May I please speak? My lord, here. Earlier, the petitioner was challenged the reassessment proceeding, the order of which I have quoted, Lordship, kindly see page 9 of my writ application. The earlier order. Lordship, the relevant portion is the last paragraph. I may be permitted to only place the last paragraph, Lordship. Upon hearing the learned counsel in respect of parties and on perusal of the writ application as well as the objection, we are of the considered view that the assessing officer may proceed with the hearing of the matter, but prior to the proceeding under section 148 of the Income Tax Act on merits, and shall pass rigid order on the contention regarding jurisdiction as raised by the petitioner. We reiterate the assessing officer shall afford opportunity of hearing a petitioner to the petitioner to substantiate the contention before the said authority. My lord, the reassessment proceeding was challenged only ground of the change of opinion. Only in that ground, so I raised in the earlier writ application, I raised the ground that merely change of opinion, the ITO has no jurisdiction to enter open the proceeding. My lord, thereafter, Annexure 1 was passed. After the order was communicated, Annexure 1 was passed. They fixed the date of hearing without passing any order of jurisdiction. I came before your lordship. During the pending of the writ application, they filed the final assessment order that is incorporated in my amendment application, lordship, that is IA 1505.
It's an appealable order, sir.
Yes, it's I don't, lordship. All the grounds raised in the writ application.
It will be permitted to raise. Is the counsel the petitioner seeks leave to withdraw the present petition with liberty to challenge the assessment order in under section 147 of the Income Tax Act 1961. In accordance with law, such appeal is filed not later than 1st February, accompanied by an application for contention of delay. Then it will be considered in accordance with law by the appellate authority. Further, subject to the appeal being filed within the time aforesaid, but is accompanied by an application for interim relief, then till such time the appellate authority passes an order thereon. The interim order passed by this court on 22nd March 2018 will continue. The writ petition is disposed of the above. The originals will return subject to being substituted with attested photocopies.
Obliged.
Over. Oh.